You are watching the Vodka stream.
Yay! What's happening, everybody? It's Friday. How we doing out there? Hopefully good. Got through another week. Survived. It's not as hot in California. It's actually been crazy. We were back to the overcast mornings. All of a sudden, that heat wave went away, and I think it got up to like only 82 degrees today, and I'm like, wow, it's been so nice. It's been so nice. So at least there's that when it comes to California. Anyways, what's happening, guys? Hopefully you guys are good. Was the guy go? Hopefully you had a good week. That's what I was trying to get there right there. I had a pretty decent week. Slow week. Felt like a slow week this week. I don't know. Felt interesting, but got a good show tonight. We got Wonder Meg that's going to be joining. It's been a long time since she's been on the Vodka stream. She's going to be coming on, and we're going to talk about her adventure at the Toronto Film Festival. So that's going to be interesting because, yeah, she was there for, I think, like a week, something like that, almost a week at least. And yeah, we'll break it down, talk about that little adventure and catch up with her. And then, of course, we'll have the panel showing up to add to the conversation of things that happened this week. So how we doing out there? We got Gilmer right here. James Badge Dale as Hal Jordan. Don't know who that is. I mean, sounds like an interesting name, you know, so, but I'm not quite sure who that is. But anyways, forgot to say cheers. Might have a little too much vodka in that one. It's okay. I got my vodka mule right here that I'll water it down, you know. Yeah, I was like, wow, I was quite a pour right there. What's going on, Taladia Plays? Hopefully you're having a good one. Good Friday as well. We got James. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Mr. W. No, Mr. Freeze wouldn't make sense based in what Reeves said. I don't know. Reeves has said a lot of things that has actually hinted to the fact that there would be Mr. Reeves. But, you know, Mr. Reeves, Mr. Freeze. Wow, that kind of just like sounded crazy. Batman, let's see. Reeves wants Batman to be Batman focused and doesn't want the villain to take the shine like the other previous iterations. Mr. Freeze is enough to take the shine. I don't know if he's enough to take the shine. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's just all the things when it comes to it being cold and the fact that he's teased it before. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. But, you know, we'll see what happens. What's going on, Andrew Hughes? Happy Friday. Just getting home from a show of Speak No Evil. I really liked it. However, do you think the movie ends up working if anyone else but McAvoy is the lead? Good question. I mean, I think anybody could do that, but McAvoy is just such a psycho, man. And I'm going to do my drinking review, my full-on drinking review when it comes to Speak No Evil after sitting on it for 24 hours. So yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, I think he definitely adds to it, but yeah, I mean, I think anybody can make the role their own, but I think having McAvoy is he's such a psycho, and I love it. I love it. Hey, cheers, Jason McKenzie adding to the pirate ship. Much appreciated. Always helping the pirate ship and everything. So cheers to you, sir. Ahoy, hoy. And cheers, man. Got the vodka rolling. Appreciate you, Jason. What's going on, Ryan? Just finished the first watch Beetlejuice. The first one? Thought it was fun. Showed Tim Burton's dark humor. Can't wait to see Beetle tomorrow. Okay, so, wow. I know it is kind of interesting. I've seen some people who have like talked about how they have not seen the first one. So I'm glad people are actually seeing it because, I mean, it's so iconic. It's such a, I don't know, it's such a thing. I mean, and I enjoyed the second one. It just didn't enjoy it obviously as much and felt like there were some things that just, you know, it was fine. It was fine. It was okay. So I just wasn't, I wish I was just a little bit more, I don't know. I just thought it would just went a little too, there's just a little too much happening in the movie. What's going on, Jade? Good to see you. We got Axel right here. What is happening? What's going on, Mr. Lane? Do you have a confession to make by any chance? No, I don't have any confessions. Yes, I know. I know. Talked about that. Good old Dave Grohl. But hey, like I said, it's a good thing that he just put it out there before, news took wind of all that and stuff. What's going on, Simon? Good to see you. Not a lot. Like I said, it was a pretty easy week. And you know what? I got a really good night's sleep last night. And I don't know, today's just been very nice. And I felt, because I did not sleep well throughout the week. I was just waking up too early and all the stuff. But then last night when I went to sleep after the football game, and I just passed out and then woke up, and I was like, wow, I got like a good solid 8 hours. When you get a good solid 8 hours of sleep, yeah, your day's going to be a lot better than normal. Yeah, sleep, that whole thing. Who knew? Crazy concept. What's going on, Yusef? How it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Yusef. Happy birthday to you. Cheers, man. Happy birthday. Yeah, there's a chance that even I might have a birthday coming up pretty soon here. It's coming up, but happy birthday. Hopefully you're doing some celebration or something. We got Brian Galley. What's happening, Mr. Freeze? I'm liking it. How will they keep it grounded? Or do we see some fantastical? Bring the Court of Owls too. Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's what everybody's always been talking about when it comes to the possibility of Mr. Freeze. Like, how do you make it a little bit more grounded? How do you not make it so fantastical and make it like the who killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age, Everybody chill. How do you recover from that? Because the last time we saw, well, not the last time. It's technically not the last. It's the last time we saw a cinematic Mr. Freeze, but there was a Mr. Freeze in Gotham, and that toned it down significantly. So there wasn't a Freeze in Titans, right? No, that was Scarecrow. Scarecrow was the last one. That's right. So we got Braden right here. What's happening? We got Phil. What is going on? Nice haircut. Well, I haven't gotten a new haircut. I need to get a haircut, actually. It's a little too long right now. I'm probably going to get a haircut maybe this weekend, maybe next week. I don't know. But, obviously it fits my my brand, right? I have not seen Rebel Ridge. Maybe that's going to be something I'm going to watch this weekend because I've heard nothing but good things about that. So we got Max Wolf Danger. What's happening? What up? I'm doing good. I just saw Beetlejuice 2. Movie was a 10 out of 10. Nice. And I still want Chris Pine, Hal Jordan. Well, could still be there. Could happen. And yeah, happy fucking Friday, Dave. Batman Part 2, Villain Cold. Hopefully. We got W Games. Ray Fisher was great in Rebel Moon. The guy's an amazing actor. He absolutely is. He kicked ass. And I hear he's good in his new movie, The Piano Lesson, too. And we got Mama Film Junkie. What's happening from you, Teresa, and Aunt Nancy? Well, hi, everybody. Sounds like a little party's happening at Mama Film Junkie's house. She's got her bestie and her sister with her. So good to see you. Hi, favorite aunt. Hi, favorite best friend. And hi, Mom. There we go. So we got Skate and Geek Out. What is going on? Howdy, Dave. I like seeing the 89 Batman Facts videos. Keaton is my favorite actor, and that movie was epic, game changer. You got anything planned for Batman Day next Saturday? Not really. I forget that it is there, but I don't know. Figure out something maybe. Maybe we'll do a stream or something for next Saturday. I've been wanting to do like hey, if you guys are members of the channel or Patreon or whatever, maybe we'll I think that would be a perfect time to just have a hey, come on the stream, let's talk some Batman. So maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe I'll do something casual Batman. It's time to bring casual Batman back, maybe. I don't know. What's going on, Mr. Trevino? Salud. Just got done listening to a podcast that had Zach on about Twilight of the Gods. Great interview. Listen to on Podbean under DC Cinema Cast if anyone wants to listen. Cool. Yeah, that's coming out next week. So we got some new Zack Snyder content that's going to be coming out. Twilight of the Gods looking good. We got Super Godzilla X vlogs. Venom will have a chance. Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about Venom. Yeah, we'll talk about Venom, the trailer that came out. Mr. Balga is right here too. How many cold puns would Matt Reeves, Mr. Freeze, put out there in the Batman Part 2? Yeah. I think he's like, I'm going to ignore all those puns right there. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger really, I think he depleted all the cold puns for sure. We got Tet. Good to see you, Tet. All right. Great to see you too. We got Carrie as well. What do you do to spike your hair? Well, I use well, I was gonna say something really bad. I'm like, wait, my mom's listening. Nah, she doesn't care. No, no, I just use like this fiber stuff and just that's pretty much it. Blow dry and then just doesn't take that long. I blow dry the hair and then just like that. So that's pretty much it. So there we go. I was going to say something like I use bull semen or something like that. I don't know. I was just like my stupid brain went there. All right. So before we bring Wonder Meg on to talk about her adventure at TIFF, let me first off do my drinking review. I'm going to do a quick drinking review of Speak No Evil. And so here we go right here. So cheers. Speak No Evil. A lot of drinking happens in Speak No Evil. I will say that. You know what? After sitting on this film for 24 hours, there's really not much more I could say about it. It's an enjoyable horror thriller, more thriller, I think, but it's got a horror aspect to it, of course. And like I said, I can't say enough about how good James McAvoy is in this. And he's just one of those. He's one of those dudes. He's just one of those guys. I mean, when you saw him in Split and then even in Glass, I mean, the range that he has, and seeing him come up, and of course, X-Men, and then there was Wanted. He's been in numerous movies, and I haven't seen like everything he's been in, but just to see him come up and just to show the range of his talent, especially when it comes to these types of movies. I mean, he's just a beast. He's a beast. And that's why, even with the comment earlier, can anybody else actually, would they be able to do it? I'm like, yeah, they probably would. They'd make it their own. But I mean, McAvoy is he's so charming. Again, like the first hour of this movie, I mean, he's a charming dude. Like the character's charming, where you want to hang out with him. I'm like, yeah, this guy just seems like a lot of fun. He's very happy, he's energetic, and he likes to drink, and he wants to have a good time. But then, man, when the darkness starts setting in, holy shit. And you get those moments where you're just going, you see it in the trailer, you see it, you just type in James McAvoy, you see GIFs from it, and just like the facial expressions that he makes, where it's like, all right, I don't want to move. Are you like a T-Rex? Because if I move, you are going to attack me. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if I should shake your hand, fist bump you, or I should be terrified. And he plays that so well. And like I said, in my first reactions, like the first hour is like, there's a lot of awkward moments because the two main character, the couple with the daughter, they're just, they have their own things, and there's like a backstory when it comes to that whole thing. But they just want to just unwind and have a good time and stuff. And so when they meet this other family, things are a little off. And like I said, the first half of the movie, I felt myself just adjusting my chair going, man, this is awkward. But it was good because I can always gauge when it comes to a movie, and I will say this, and one of the last things I'll say about this movie. Well, not the last thing, but I'll just say this. When I sat down in my chair, like I said, I hadn't been sleeping that well this week. So I was yawning. I was feeling the tiredness set in. And I'm like, oh, crap. And there's been times where I've sat through movies and I've, done the, whoop, oh, shit. When this movie started and things started going, it woke me up. So for me, just like going, oh man, this movie is just building and building. It's a slow burn. And it woke me up. It was like caffeine, because I was just like, this movie's awkward. And then when things really started going, and then like the twists where you know what really is going on. Yeah, I was fully engaged, man. there's some stupid moments too, but and then there's like, is another thing too, is like there's one thing that I saw when it came to Speak No Evil that I saw online. It was a James McAvoy interview, was because I noticed, I was like, dude, the dude got jacked. He got jacked for this. I mean, he's always been in good shape, but I was like, he got jacked for this. And I know we've always had these discussions, and I've talked about it numerous times. I even talked about it recently when it came to Dave Bautista, dropping in weight, is the fact that it's like, oh yeah, usually these actors, they get in shape for a role. If they, have to get in super shape, they, they'll have some help. But then when I was like, well, there's no reason why that, this is not a superhero world. This is a small thriller horror movie. It's like, why? But James McAvoy talked about how during the pandemic, he just decided, you know what? I'm just want to get bigger. And he said he was just doing powerlifting and just eating a lot. So if anybody's like commenting about like his physique and it's like, oh yeah, did he take some, no, I think like when it comes to this, because he's not like shredded, he's just big. And that's what he expressed in the interview, is like, I know, it's like thinking like when it comes to this character, when he's being charming, when he's being just like, just how he kind of baits, I guess you could say, and just being that charming character. It's like, yeah, shoulders are down, everything's good. But man, there's like a moment, where he's like in a wife beater and he's like, and he's just looking like a beast. And I was like, that's cool. And then, but at the same time, I'm like, when you see him with his shirt off, it's like, it's not like he's Hugh Jackman shredded. He's not. He's like just a bulky dude. So I'm going, okay, yeah, he didn't, have some help. I think he said during the pandemic, during COVID, he was like, yeah, I was just eating a lot and I decided to start powerlifting. So it's very noticeable. And I was like, cheers to you, man. Cheers to you for doing that. And like I said, I think it added to the character, because he even said before he got the script, he was already like doing that. So it like helped with the character. And he was like, yeah, I wanted to get my shoulders and my neck and my traps bigger, just because when it came to those moments where this character just, his name's Patty, just gets like, just starts to get that rage out. It just added to it, and really does. It really does. So cheers to, go see it, guys. Go see it. I'm actually glad that I chose that over Killer's Game, even though I still want to see Killer's Game, but cheers. All right. Glasses are off. Let's go ahead and pour some of that in there. All right. And glasses on. All right. Let's go ahead and bring my guest here. Let's see, get everything good. All right. Sure the background is there. All right, we're good. All right. She's been on before and she's making her triumphant return. Meg, what's happening?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm tired.
Oh, you poor thing. Well, I thank you for, giving some time tonight, but I'm sure you are. You've had a long week.
Yeah, I think collectively, like, because I had to, like, I went back to work today, and
that sucks too.
yeah, I think collectively since like last Wednesday, I think I've probably gotten like 12 hours of sleep.
That's one of the things I wanted to actually discuss about with your whole adventure. We'll fully get to that, but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Are you just running on just pure caffeine right now?
Yeah, and just, just vibes really. Just, I mean, just the experience in general, like, I just didn't wanna miss anything, so, like, that's kind of, like, what kept me going. Like, I was like, "I'll just sleep when I get home," or, like, "It's fine."
But then
But
you have to go back to work and stuff, and
oh,
then
yeah,
that.
today was rough, and, Mondays and Fridays, I work from home anyways, so,
Oh,
like,
so that's good.
oh, yeah, but, like, I signed on for work today, and I was like, "Why the fuck didn't I just ask for today off too?" Like,
Yeah.
Friday, and then I have the weekend off, but, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty tired. Like, when you messaged me, I was, like, finishing, like, my first review,
Oh, sorry.
and no, you're fine, and
Yeah.
I was finishing my first review, and, I was like in my pajamas and I was like fully ready to like go to bed. And I was like, well, yeah, I haven't been on in a while, so I might as
Yeah.
well just hop on.
Yeah, no, it was probably about 3 or 2.5 hours before. I was like, "Oh, shit. Yeah. Let me see if Meg wants to come on and talk about her adventure." So I was like, "Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to." And I was like, I almost felt bad. I was like, "Yeah," because I even thought about it earlier this week because I was keeping up with all your tweets
Mhm.
and all the reviews you were posting. So, but yeah, you went to the film festival, Toronto International Film Festival. And let's break it down. Let's start at the beginning. So, I mean, it's one of those things. I was even thinking about it myself. Like when it comes to these film festivals, one of these years, I need to just like see if I could do because it sounds like a lot of fun just to be like, hey, I could travel somewhere and all I do is I just watch movies and meet with people. That sounds like a lot of fun. Why am I not trying to do that now? But so I mean, obviously with your credentials, so you got to go, and then of course traveling and everything. So yeah, start from the beginning, like when you got like, the I remember you posted on Twitter that you got accepted that you can go. I mean, that had to be exciting. So then right then and there, you just had to start making arrangements, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so it was, I think, like maybe like 24 hours before the deadline of like submitting is when I submitted because I saw like one of my friends was
It was
like,
last minute.
yeah, it was very last minute. And so I submitted, and you put all of like everything you do like online, content creating, and like all your reviews and stuff like that. It's basically like, putting in your resume type thing.
Oh yeah.
So you do all of that, and then, it's like the nerve-wracking, you wait and wait and wait. And I think it was uh, I don't even remember what day. Like the last few months have just been like a blur, but I got the email when I was like sitting in my cubicle at work, and I was
Nice.
having like the worst week at work ever. And I got that email and I was just like, oh, like nothing really matters right now. Like I got accepted, so this is awesome. And then yeah, basically I just had to get like, cause like you can travel to Canada by like land or sea if you have like an enhanced driver's license.
True. And you live
Yeah.
in Michigan, so you're
Yeah, so I live in, like, the middle of the state, so it only
yeah.
took me about, like, I drove and took me, like, 4.5 hours to drive, which it was, like, a really nice drive. It was, like, pretty relaxing.
Okay.
So, yeah, it took me, like, 4.5 hours to get there, but the nerve-wracking thing was, like, waiting for my driver's license to get in. Like, I barely made it, like, in the
Just another
time
one.
to get my license. That was, like, I was so scared because you have to get, like, a hotel and, like, everything, and, like, the closer you get to the festival, you know, the
It's
more things
more
sell out and more
yeah.
expensive things get. And so yeah, and then once I got that, it just seemed like everything was just, like, going at, like, a lightning speed, and then all of a sudden I was in Toronto.
Uh, have you ever been to Canada before?
No, I've
That was
never.
the first time. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been on a plane, like, 2 times in my life, so, like, I was so scared, like, I was,
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
the most nervous because, like, crossing the border is, like, pretty nerve-wracking. They basically, like, interrogate you,
Mhm.
uh, and they let me in, so
Yeah. That's
and it was nerve-wracking, like, coming back because 'cause they're way more strict, like, letting you back into the US than into Canada, so
yeah, and you had to do it driving. I
yeah.
mean, I can only imagine, like, if I had to go to there, I mean, obviously, I'd have to do it through, like, airplane. I'm sure that's its own freaking pain in the ass, but yeah, driving, jeez.
Yeah.
The only border I've ever crossed is the Mexican border, and they
Mhm.
don't give a shit. I mean, they don't. I mean, I've had some Tijuana, nights where we just cross, have fun in Tijuana, and then come back. Well, there's one time I went to Rosarito, and yeah, they don't give a shit, but
Yeah.
obviously it's a lot different when it comes to that border. But yeah, I've never been to Canada, and I mean, one of these days I would like to, but
It's really fun, like,
yeah,
everyone is, like, super nice there. Like
That's
as
what
soon
we hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like really like I live like Michigan is like basically Canada.
Yeah.
Like and but I was really shocked at like how friendly everyone was there. Like I had to park my car in like a parking ramp and most parking ramps I've ever been to, you get like a ticket like before you even get in. Like they won't even
Mhm.
let you in. But like at these ones, they let you in and you have to like set it up in like this like computer. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like no idea. And I was standing there with like all my bags, you know, and I was just like I was like so nervous. And this guy on a bike was like riding by and I was like, if I don't stop and ask him, I'm just gonna be standing here like an idiot for like ever. And I stopped and asked him and he was like, "Oh yeah, you just go to this kiosk and you print out a ticket." And I was like, "Oh, you just saved my life." I'm like standing here for like an hour. But yeah, no, it was a lot of like yesterday when I like woke up, I was like, I can't believe I already was there for like a week, you know?
Yeah.
It
It was
was like
for a
the
bit.
craziest
It
time
was a bit.
ever. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like at first I was like, I don't know how I'm going to like stay here for a week, like be away from like my cats and my boyfriend and stuff. And like
Yeah.
but it went by like so fast. Like especially after like 3 days, I was like I it was like, you know, I would wake up, you would have like your schedule of like movies that you would want to get to and you know, you try to hit as many as you could. Like I think the most I watched in a day was like 4.
Wow.
And yeah. And,
That's a lot of movies.
yeah, I mean, and like after a while, you have to like really make sure that you pay attention, or else it's like, what was the point of even watching it, you know? Because like you find yourself kind of like drifting off and like just
Yeah.
looking at other things in the theater.
Because it's not like these aren't films that are just like brainless fun where it's like, okay, I
Oh
get this.
yeah,
You know,
you
these
have to
are
pay
these are like
attention.
these are like artsy, these are films.
Yeah, for the most part, they're like movies that you kind of have to pay attention to everything because, like, if you don't, it's not like turn your brain off stuff.
Nope.
And but yeah, it was really cool. And like my favorite part is obviously meeting like so many people that you know you've talked to online for years. And like finally, like just
All
being
that.
able to sit down and like watch a movie with them was just like it was awesome, but then, like, saying goodbye to them after, like, a week of, like, spending, like, all this time with them was, like, so sad.
No, no, I get that because yeah, I mean, because there's other people there that you've talked to online and you finally meet with them, and I'm sure there was times where you probably had some meals with them or drinks with them or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, I mean, one of my friends, Brittany, that I met, we literally spent, like, 3 days together, like, our schedules, like, perfectly aligned for, like, 3 days in a row, and it was, like it was amazing, you know, and it's like, when is that ever gonna happen again? I mean, she doesn't live that far away, thankfully, but yeah,
But
it's just like it's
but
such an
life
indescribable like TIFF was like just like the coolest thing ever, you know, and it's like a week of just doing like your favorite thing. Like,
watching movies, yes,
yeah,
and then meeting up with people, yes. I mean,
yeah.
my god. But, so when it comes to so what was the first movie that you watched?
The Steven Soderbergh movie called Presence.
Presence, okay.
It's pretty neat. It's like a family moves into a house and it's possessed by like a ghost, and you're
I saw the
watching,
I saw the
yeah,
trailer.
you're watching the movie in the point of view of the ghost. And it was really interesting. I mean, I've never really watched a movie from the point of view of a ghost before,
Hmm,
and it was cool to start off the festival with like such a like an interesting movie like that because I've always been on kind of on the fence about his movies. Um, but as of late, I've you know changed my mind a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, no, he's not for everybody, I get what you're
yeah,
saying,
but it was fun. It has Lucy Liu and
okay.
Julia Fox is in it, and it was cool. And it's fun to watch the movies in like a crowd of just people that love movies because like at film
That always
festivals,
helps.
like it's acceptable to like laugh and clap and do all of that stuff in a
That's
theater.
that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. It's just the fact that the company that you're sitting with is like everybody's there to enjoy all this. It's not just because when I went and saw Speak No Evil, I mean there was like 3 young people in the back and they're freaking talking
Oh
so
yeah.
much, and I'm like, good Lord. But yeah, so I mean, you're in there with like-minded people who just want to enjoy these films.
Yeah, like, no one's on their phone, and if they are,
Nope.
like, there's ushers that will, like, have flashlights that just, like
Nice. That's
yeah,
good.
they, like, flash the flashlights, which is kind of almost just as distracting if you think about it,
Sure.
but it, like, makes a spectacle and embarrasses them enough to, like, not get on their phone again.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's cool because like, people will clap and, cheer and laugh along at
that's
moments,
good.
and, yeah, the camaraderie of it all was almost just as cool as watching the movies.
And I can't help but bring up this image right here. Oh my God, look at this. Our Wonder Meg right here got to meet the queen herself, Miss Amy Adams. And yeah, it was just like one of those things that everybody was just talking about when you posted it right here. How was that experience?
Oh my gosh, it's actually a pretty funny story. There's I'm trying to think of how many theaters. There's like 4 or 5 theaters that play movies, like, at all times, and the theater that I saw her newest movie, Night Bitch, is, like, the big theater they do, like, all the premieres and, like, special screenings in, um, for, so I had a press pass, so I had access to, like, the press screenings and then also, like, the public screenings.
Yeah.
So, um, the theater that this was in was called the Princess of Wales Theater, and there's, an alleyway behind the building, which I had no idea before. Like, this is, like I don't remember what day this was, like, maybe day 3?
It's okay. You don't have to
Honestly, I don't
it
remember.
all just went together. I get it.
Um, so prior to this picture, I had no idea that, like, after the movie and after the Q&As, like, the cars go to pick them up behind this building because there's,
Mhm.
like, a parking ramp inside this big theater, and I figured, well, they obviously probably sneak them through the parking ramp so people don't bombard them. No, they picked them up through the back because I had, like, another screening, like, immediately after this Q&A, so I'm like, I'm thinking I'm taking a shortcut by, like, cutting through this theater through the back, and I walk right into Amy Adams, and I was like, "Well, this
Ah,
is my only opportunity ever."
yeah.
So, I just, like, said, "I love you" as Lois Lane, and I just thanked her for her movie Night Bitch that, premiered, and she was really sweet. She was, like, holding my arm, maybe because I looked like I was super nervous.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, and she was wearing, like, 6-inch heels, and you can even see she's still, like, a head shorter than I
Yeah,
am.
I always figured she was really short.
Yeah, which I'm not even that tall. I'm, like,
Yeah.
5'8", so, like, she's a very small and just, like, the sweetest lady ever,
Wow.
and I was just like I blurted it out really fast, and I, like, walked away, and I was just like, "Oh my god, oh my god." And I just wanted other people to have the chance because, there's, like, uh, autograph, like,
Yeah,
scalpers out there that are just, like, really rude, and I
that's
just wanted other people to have the chance, and, it was so cool, and I it's just like, I don't even know what to say after this, and so I went and saw another movie, and I don't even remember what movie it was at this point because I was just sitting there like, "How am I supposed to even
I
focus
just
on."
met Lois Lane.
Yeah, I
What
was
am I
like,
doing?
I love everything Amy Adams does, so, like, I'm
Yes.
just, like, sitting there thinking, I don't even know what to say, and, but then for the future of the festival, I knew if I wanted pictures or if I wanted to say hello to anybody, that's where I needed to go, so
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's good to
yeah.
hear, but that's just I mean, it was just funny and it's funny because when it comes to Night Bitch, um, the fact when the trailer came out and I talked about it on Film Junkie Live, it was hilarious because everybody was talking about obviously everybody. I mean, we want Amy Adams to finally get her
Yeah.
Oscar because it's like she's due. She's such a great actress and we love her so much. But it's just it's funny because everybody's like, oh, maybe Night Bitch is going to be it. And then when I saw when the trailer came out, and then people went, wait a minute, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, and now I'm not sure. And I just love the reactions because I'm like, what were you guys thinking? It's a movie called Night Bitch.
She's a person who thinks she's turning into a dog.
Yeah. And I was just like, when I watched the trailer, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be anything like that. I mean, it looks kind of ridiculous, but I'm kind of for it. It looks fun. It looks like a fun movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, sorry. But yeah,
Got Amy Adams texting you right now?
My boyfriend sent me a picture of our cats cuddling. I don't know if you can see it.
Adorable.
Yeah, but no, Night Bitch is really good, and I'm not really one to like really care about the Academy Awards, you know, like, and I'm not very good at like being like, oh my god, that's like an award-winning performance, you know, but I don't know, the movie's really good. I think it's really good, and there's a lot of like care that went into. And one thing I will say about TIFF is that like it is so cool to like hear immediately after the movie, for some movies at least, like the Q&As after the movie with the people that made it, like talking about the movies as soon as after you like watch the movie, you know. So like they had the directors and sometimes the producers, sometimes the actors come out on stage and like talk about their processes and like their experiences with the movie. And Amy Adams, like her story with Night Bitch was like, it touched like the audience was like sobbing during the movie. Like it is very it is like a very important movie, I think, for women who kind of struggle with like motherhood and they're all of like the horrible complicated emotions that kind of come with like being a mother and being a woman. And she uses like her own experience as like not just like a mom but a daughter and like a woman, and it's just like it was so cool to hear like all of these women talking about it. And that's like one thing I was telling my boyfriend. I was like, it's gonna be so hard to like go watch a movie and like not hear a Q&A after, because it's cool. I mean, you know, like DVDs have like commentaries and stuff on them.
It's not the same.
But like, yeah, like going to a movie theater and not hearing like people talk about like how passionate they were about the movie, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Night Bitch, I think will surprise a lot of people. The trailer, like, obviously did not do it any justice. I don't think it showed it like as like a weird, like, I mean, there's funny parts of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some of the more surreal elements might take people out of it, but it's still really good. But I don't know. Some people like have this in their mind where like Amy Adams can only do certain movies, you know, like, oh, I want her to go back to doing movies like Arrival and stuff. And it's like, Amy Adams is a very versatile actress. So
I mean, the first time I saw her was in Talladega Nights, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
And then she was in an episode of The Office, and I'm like,
yeah, she was in Smallville.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, so you know,
so
and I
it's
think
like,
a lot of people just have like this obsession with like everything has to be Oscars and everything has to be award worthy, and it's just like, why can't it just be like, why can't they just do movies they want to do?
that's I think that's the whole thing, and I think that's what these film festivals actually emphasize when it comes to this. Like, yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Oscars and getting the statue, it's like, okay, it's something, yeah, it's cool, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. I think like when you have a movie that comes out and people are discussing it and talking about it a lot and people are liking it and there's a good buzz, there's a good word of mouth. I don't know. To me, like, I mean, I'm one of those where I just go, yeah, it's just Oscars, cool. It's fine. It's, you win the award, but at the same time, I mean, how many times where people say like, oh, somebody was snubbed or this, that, and this? Like literally one person has to win one category. I mean, it's it's almost impossible. It's like an impossible feat. I mean, it took Leo DiCaprio to win. You know, how many times where people were like, "Oh yeah, he should have won," and then he wins for The Revenant, and I go, "Yeah, he shouldn't have won for that. I don't think that was his best role, but hey, congratulations." You know, and I think that with a lot of actors, where it's like, "Oh yeah, they won." I think they did better in this one, but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, they were going up against, you know, fucking Daniel Day-Lewis, or you know, they were going up against somebody who put on like a crazy performance, and it's like there's timing and everything. But I think, and what I like about when it comes to these, like you were saying with Q&As and everything, it's just when these actors and the filmmakers get to talk about, you know, what went into getting the movie made and why they love the role or why they love the story or something like that. I think that's to me, that's just, it's better than an Oscar acceptance speech, you know, where they get freaking played off by the band after 2 minutes. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody, my friend Ferdosa, actually at TIFF. We were talking about like the exact Leonardo DiCaprio situation where like he won for The Revenant, and it's like sometimes with these like legacy actors or actresses, they get nominated for these roles where it's like, okay, they haven't ever won or they haven't won in a very long time. Like kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
She won for that, which if they would have just waited a year, she should be nominated for The Last Showgirl that I saw at TIFF.
That's
A
another one.
much better performance. And like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, she's not even the best supporting actress in
No,
that
he's
movie.
not.
But
I love the movie, but I was going, really? I mean, when
yeah,
that
like
happened, I was like, no, that doesn't even make
that could have been
sense.
played by anybody.
No, yeah, it's like they just say, "Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis, look what she did. She gotten, you know, they uglied her up and she played this crazy character." And I'm like, that doesn't deserve an Oscar. Like, as much as I love the movie and I'm glad that it won the
Yeah.
entire thing because I just loved it and overall, but what drove that movie was not Jamie Lee Curtis. She was a
Yeah.
part of it, sure, but it was Michelle Yeoh and, you know, the main characters that really drove that movie home. You know, it wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis. She was just kind of like this crazy character. And I'm like, really? She's going to win? Like, I didn't agree with that at all.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and we were talking about how, um, Daniel Craig, he has an amazing performance in Queer that comes
Mhm.
out, actually, I don't know when it comes out, but, he's in Queer that premiered at TIFF as well. An absolutely, like, career-defining performance, like, does things that are just beyond what I've ever seen him do, and he probably will get nominated, and he probably will win, but also you have people like John David Washington in The Piano Lesson, which
Yeah.
his performance is just on par with it. So you see like these 2 amazing performances and one doesn't overdo the other one. And, you know,
They're
people
just
are
different. Yeah.
yeah, and people are like they see one is going to win an Academy Award, so they think, "Oh, this one's obviously better than the other because it won a gold statue type thing." But
Yeah. I hate that. I
I
hate
know, me too, and it's like it's just, obviously, it's a very prestigious award, and, it means something, obviously, like Oppenheimer sweeping, like Dune
Yeah.
sweeping, all of these movies that, like, sweep and stuff, and, it means something, but I think a lot of people, like, just to bring it back, like, a lot of people just put too much weight sometimes into it, and it kind of takes, like, the fun out of, like, watching movies sometimes.
It really does. And then especially like when you're watching like a trailer and then of course they'll put that on, you know, Academy Award winner. And it's like
Yeah.
that's cool, but at the same time, I'm like, that doesn't mean,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
you have, like, people like Gary Oldman,
yeah,
like, he has been in
so many things.
so many incredible movies and
And then
just, like
in bad movies too. I mean, that's the thing.
yeah, and just, like, totally transforms for, like,
Yeah.
every single movie he does, and,
Yeah.
like, he barely ever gets recognized for that stuff, but he still is an incredible actor.
Yeah. It's just I don't know, like as the years go by, I'll watch the Academy Awards and award season and just to see, but
Yeah.
over time I just go like, what does this even mean? I mean, I know it means something for the performer and even, the filmmaker and stuff. It helps. The prestige does help, but at the same
Yeah, it's
time,
kind of
it's
like
like,
sports teams to me. I mean, it's just
yeah,
like I've had fun like sitting down and like watching it and like rooting for certain people or certain
yeah,
movies and stuff, and like
yeah.
that's fun. But there's some people that it's just like, oh, this movie looks like dog shit, so if it's not going to win any Academy Awards, I'm not watching it. And it's like, do you ever have fun? Like,
Yeah,
have you ever
exactly.
laughed in your life?
So yeah, just go watch a movie just to watch a movie and be entertained. I don't need it to be like this Oscar caliber whole thing right here. But I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up you did post this list right here of the movies. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. And what's funny is the movie that I am most looking forward to on this is number 11.
Oh, Saturday night.
Yeah, number 11. I mean, I'm not, again, it's your opinions on all this stuff, and I don't.
Listen, that is out of a list of like 25 movies.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So
So it's not like, oh yeah, Saturday Night was
I
okay.
just
I
picked
saw your
12
review.
because on
Yes,
Letterboxd, like, I was
that's
like,
all
well,
there.
if I just like cross out the last two,
Yeah.
then it's not like a nice looking list. So
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. So I mean, it's not like you're just going, oh yeah, Saturday Night was okay
oh,
or
it
something like that.
sucks. No, dude,
Yeah,
Saturday
yeah.
night's awesome.
So sucks. Yeah, I know. I'm so looking forward to that. But I forgot that, you got Tom Hiddleston with Life of Chuck, which is like, all right,
Oh
I didn't even
gosh.
know about that movie until actually I saw your tweets, to
Oh
be
yeah.
honest. So we got that. And then, of course, we got the piano lesson, which a lot of people are talking about. And a lot of people are actually talking
Oh
about
yeah.
Ray Fisher in that
I
too.
have a I have an interesting story about
Yay.
that. It's actually a really great story. I was in line. I was first in line. I mean, you have tickets, but, like, you have to get there, like, super early.
Of course.
So, they make you get there, like, an hour early. You have to line up outside, and, like, if you don't get there, like, within, like, the first 30 minutes, the line is, like, totally wrapped around, like, the next 4 blocks. So, I got there early, I'm waiting in line, and the street that's right next to the theater it wraps around, and the one right in front of the theater is where they do like the red carpet and take pictures.
Hmm.
So I'm standing in line and I see because I was on the press list, so you get the emails about who's showing up for like the photo calls. So like the day before we got an email saying Denzel Washington was showing up. So I was like, oh
Oh.
my God. And I've been so out of it for, like, the last few months, like, preparing for this that I didn't put, like, 2 and 2 together that the director, his name is Malcolm Washington, and
Oh, I
I
didn't
was
know
like
that either.
yeah, I didn't put 2
No
and 2
shit.
together. Yeah, and so I saw, like, the day before, there was a Variety video that was saying, like, Malcolm Washington and John David Washington were, like, reminiscing about, like, a childhood memory, and I was like, "Wait a fucking
What? Okay,
minute."
I did not even think about that either until you
Yeah,
told
so
me
I'm
right
glad
now.
and you know what? We aren't the only
Wow.
ones because I was talking to people all throughout the festival, and they were like, "Oh, I just thought it was a coincidence." I was like, "Me too."
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Wow.
I was standing
Okay.
in line and, like, all of the, like, Escalades, like, the blacked out Escalades are driving
Yeah.
by, and, I was kind of bummed that I didn't, like, stand near the red carpet to, like, get a glimpse, because I wanted to see Ray Fisher, obviously. And I'm standing in line just, like, looking around, and I hear someone yelling my name, and I was like, "Okay," and I look over, and it was Ray Fisher.
No shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
he rolled
nice.
his window down, and I took a picture of it, but, um, he rolled his window down, and he was like, "Is Meg, is that you?" And I was like, "Yeah?" Like,
Yeah?
what?
What?
And he's like, "Are you seeing the movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm first in line," and, we didn't really get to talk much then because, like, people were just, like, swarming, and it was really, like it was really touching to see, because everything that he's went through,
Oh,
people
yeah.
were just like, "I love your work, I love your advocacy," and, then he had to, like, start driving away, so, I was just like, that just totally made, like, my entire
That made
year.
the entire trip right there.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
that was really
Wow.
sweet, and, then I was sitting, like, in the front row, and we, like, chit-chatted for a minute, and, it was cool. And it was cool to
Wow.
see, like yeah, it was really nice. He's the sweetest, and,
Oh,
yeah.
he's great. He's
Yeah,
great. I
and
mean,
he's amazing in the movie, like,
that's what everybody's talking about. I mean, even, like,
he
Variety was
steals
like
the show, like
yeah. So, like, I mean, that's what I'm like, alright, like, good on Ray for, I mean, when people were just saying, like, when he was pushing back against all the bullshit that happened with Justice League, and, there were people out there going, "Yeah, he ruined his career, he's doing all this," and then all of a sudden you got Variety posting like, "Oh, yeah, the piano lesson is a triumph, and Ray Fisher sticks out of the entire cast." It's like, hello, people. What are we doing here? This guy is actually a good actor. I don't know if you guys know this, but he's not just some actor for hire who played this half human, half robot in this movie. I know you guys want to like pin him as that, and then of course being like when he was doing all that stuff, you want to like pin him as like some kind of crybaby. No, he was just trying to do something. He was trying to, push back against what was going on here.
Mhm.
And I just love that, obviously like when there was interviews that were happening at TIFF, people were asking about that, and he said, you know what, that's the thing that the thing that happened, but I want to move on from that, and I'm really hoping that there's going to be a lot of attention that comes on that this film like brings and his performance, so then people can be like, oh wait, this is that, oh, and I love those kind of stories because nobody knew who Ray Fisher was before Zack Snyder. The only I remember when he got cast as Cyborg, I was like, oh, what? And then he played Muhammad Ali, and or no, was it Muhammad? Yeah, Muhammad Ali,
Mhm.
like a Broadway performance or something like that. That was like the only thing that he really had under his belt at the time. But now it's like, well, he's been in a few more movies, and now he's gonna have this standout performance. I'm like, yeah, good on Ray. Good on Ray.
Yeah, I
Hope
mean, I saw it in, like, a packed I saw it at the premiere, it was packed, and, I mean, he got the biggest laughs, he got the biggest cheers, he got the biggest I mean, the movie got, like, 3 standing ovations, which I know people are like, standing ovations or whatever, but, I mean, it was people really resonated with the movie, and, especially the Q&A was really cool seeing Denzel on stage because he's a producer, on stage with his 2 sons, and his daughter was on
cool.
stage because she's a producer, I think, and,
Wow.
yeah, it's like a whole family affair, not just his family, but also, the piano lesson is, like, a pretty old story, it, like, goes back to I don't remember who they said the original creator was, but, their family is still involved with it, and it's a really great movie, and, it's cool because they said that they made it for screen because they wanted it more, available for people that can't see it on Broadway or can't see it in a play version, and I'm glad because, I mean, I'm one of those people, I live, like, in the middle of nowhere for, like, Broadway stuff,
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And, because I always wanted to see the play when it was showing, but, I can't just travel to New York to see it, and, so that's one thing Malcolm said in the beginning was, like, we wanted to make it more widespread available for people to see this, like, amazing story, and it was really good. I mean, it was definitely not what I was expecting at all.
Good. No, I always love that too.
Yeah.
And then you put Enora as your favorite out of the whole festival. And I keep on hearing these good things, and they even released a new trailer today. And
Yeah.
I think I watched the first trailer, and then I was like, okay, this seems interesting. And then I watched this trailer, and I went, all right. So I was watching it, and I'm like, okay, this is like, okay, so it's about a stripper who meets this Russian dude, and then she decides to marry him, and it's like, okay, it almost sounds like it could be just like a gross out comedy for the most part. But then of course shit goes down, and then I'm seeing, of course, now they're adding the reactions and critic reactions to film festivals and
Yeah.
everything, and they're saying that what's her name?
Mikey Madison.
Mikey, not Mikey. I almost said Billy Madison.
Billy Madison.
Yeah. I got a hoo. I'm thinking of freaking Adam Sandler right here. Mikey Madsen. That's right. I was like, Billy Madsen? No, but they're totally just saying like she's giving like this, this career defining performance kind of thing. And like the only thing I've seen her in before was Scream, whatever which one. She was in a Scream movie, not the last one, but the one before, because I didn't see the last one. And there's something else I think I saw her in, but I can't remember what that is. But so why was that your number one?
I don't know if you've watched any of like Sean Baker's other movies. He made The Florida Project that has Willem Dafoe.
Did not see it. Yeah.
Red Rocket that has Simon Rex.
Did not see that either. See, that's the thing. These are movies that are on my list that I need to see. So that's the thing.
He makes movies kind of about like he makes very like human movies, like movies about people, like real people, like just like Red Rocket's kind of like about this scumbag dude, like any kind of scumbag dude that you would just like meet in like a small town, basically.
I was watching podcasts with Simon Rex, and he was talking about it, and I was like, all right, I need to catch this movie because it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting movie. Sometimes like
I'm gonna have to watch it. Yeah, for sure.
I was like kind of like wishy-washy on him after that because sometimes his movies are like the dialogue is like a little too raunchy for me at times.
Yeah.
But Anora is like the perfect blend of like all of his like cinematic language, I guess. If you want to use that word, but like it's got like the raunchiness of Red Rocket, but it's got like the it's got like the he's not exploitative, like because in the Florida Project, he touches on like poverty and like people from like low income housing and drug addicts, and it's a very heavy movie. Basically, like Willem Dafoe plays like this landlord-ish guy of a big hotel that has like it's just filled with like a whole like character list of people, like anyone that you could run into that lives in a hotel, and what he does best is just like his dialogue is like something that you would hear in real life, like people, like real life people, real life situations. And in any other hands, you feel like it could maybe lean into like exploitative, like mocking almost, but he does it so well. And that's what I really loved about Anora. Like she's a character that like knows her worth from like the get-go of the movie. Like she knows what she wants, she knows how to get it. Even if she's the only person in the room advocating for herself and everyone is like telling her what to do, she's like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. And I just thought that the movie was just this perfect encapsulation of like all of his work. And it's just like, it's such a fun movie, but it's like the American dream, but like shown in like the lens of like an exotic dancer.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a cool perspective because it's like a perspective that you would never see,
Yeah.
And the cast does such a great job. I don't know where he finds like these people. Like it's like most of these people, it's like their first like big movie.
Nobody recognizable in this movie. I recognize her from that Scream movie, and she was in. Oh yeah, she was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, and it's like shot in New York City, and it shows like Manhattan and stuff, and like the city just feels like its own character at times, and it's just like I just loved it. I like it's the one movie that's sticking out to me that I haven't stopped thinking about, and it's just like I can't think of like one thing about the movie that I would change or like
Really?
yeah, and like the final scene of the movie, if you end up seeing it, it's just like totally, it's just like it sticks with you for like days.
I
Yeah,
like that.
it's really good. Sean Baker is just like my boyfriend actually introduced me to his stuff, and um, I I've just loved him ever since. He hasn't done
Yeah.
many movies, so
Yeah, he hasn't.
I mean, Honora won basically like called the Palme d'Or. It's like the European version of the like Best Picture, the Oscars,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, you can't really get much more prestigious if we wanna talk about awards than that.
No, it's good. It's good to put out there. I mean, especially if I don't even know when this movie's supposed to be coming out, but I
It
definitely
comes out in October.
October. Yeah. See,
Yeah,
that's
so
what
pretty
I
soon.
I kind of like, it's interesting because we're now reaching into that summer blockbuster season is now done. So now
Mhm.
the big movies are done. I mean, and we still got some big movies that are coming out, but at the same time, I do like this little period of like, oh yeah, we got the smaller movies that are coming out now. And but at the same time, they start cramming, they do put them in like the same weekend. And I wanted to see, at first I was like, I'm gonna go see Killer's Game. That looks like a fun movie, right up my alley. It's about hitmen. Dave Bautista, love him. Sophie Botella, yes. It's all there, and I saw the R-rated trailer. But then I'm like, what? Speak No Evil comes out this week too. I'm like,
Yeah.
you gotta like, but then I had to make the decision, and I mean, I will be honest, like the decision came down to the fact that there was an earlier showing for
Yeah.
Speak No Evil, but I'm also glad because again, you haven't seen it yet, I'm assuming.
No.
Oh, you have to watch it
I'm
because
going to. I'm seeing Transformers tomorrow.
see, that's the thing.
So,
That's
yeah.
also coming out, and I know there's something that comes along with it, and I want to see too. And I'm like, God damn it. Um, but oh yeah, is that happening tomorrow? And there's like Saturday screenings or
Yeah,
something.
I got like a early invite
Yeah.
screening at like I have to drive like an hour
Ah, it's one of
at
those.
like 11 in the morning. So that means I have to get
Oh,
up. I have to leave my house at like 8:30 to get not 8:30. I'm taking my boyfriend's friend. He loves Transformers.
nice.
So
But your
we have to go.
boyfriend's not going? He
You know,
doesn't like.
he's going. He's
Okay,
going.
he's all fuck that. Take him. I
I'm
don't like
taking my
that.
boyfriend's friend, not him. Uh,
I know. I just thought maybe he was like, no, I don't want to see it. Take him instead.
yeah, which is funny. He's downstairs right now
Yeah.
building an Optimus Prime
Nice.
model kit that he bought because he's like, I think I'm gonna get into Transformers, and I'm like, okay.
Why not? I mean, they're fun.
Yeah,
But I
he
mean,
likes to build Gundams and stuff, so he's like,
that's
I'm gonna build a Optimus Prime. I was like, nice.
go for it.
Yeah,
I like it. I'll take a picture of it.
yeah,
No, but yeah, no, but it's just like, yeah, now we're getting into that season, I guess you could say. And I think like obviously November the big movies start, getting put in there, but
I think that's
we
when
got
Saturday
Joker.
Night comes out. Is in
Yeah.
November.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for bringing that up because that was the movie that out of all these movies, because
Mhm.
I am a Saturday Night Live like I've been obsessed with Saturday Night Live since I was a kid because I just when my parents were like, "Hey," the first time that I watched that and then you know, watched and watched and watched. And then of course, it's had its ups and downs. But I mean, I got
Yeah.
introduced to Saturday Night Live and that early 1990s cast that had Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Chris
Mhm.
Farley, David Spade, Adam Sandler. I mean, it was just like right in that sweet spot. And so, I mean, but then obviously, there's so much that came before that. And then I remember, I know I've talked about this before. It was like, I remember when I was like in, I think it was freshman. I was a freshman in high school or maybe 10th grade. I don't know. But at the library, it was like an English class. And we had go. It was like one of those. Oh, we're gonna go to the library because you guys got to, research for whatever project that we're doing. I don't even remember
Yeah.
the project, but I remember I was like going through one of the aisles, and I spotted this Saturday Night Live book, and it was like a book that was probably released like 2 years prior, and it basically just was a book that had a bunch of pictures and, of course, a bunch of information about Saturday Night Live from the start to present day, from when it was published. And we had block periods. This was a block period, so it was like a 2-hour period. I remember just sitting on the floor of the library, just reading this book, not even doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I was just a bad student. I mean, it shows. Anyways, but I was just obsessed with it, and then I checked it out and then just kept reading it. So I've always been obsessed with Saturday Night Live, and even though I don't watch it as frequently now, but yeah, it was just always one of those things. So the fact that it's Ivan Reitman, right?
It's Jason.
Jason Reitman.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Ivan Reitman's may he rest in peace. He's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
It's okay.
Jason Reitman. I mean, yeah. Dude, holy, yeah. I'm a Ghostbusters fan. Why did I even? Anyways,
Are you sure?
I know, right? Yeah, nuts. Oh my god, no! I just completely just brain farted that one right there. But no, it's Jason Reitman, and I think this was probably one of the reasons why he didn't direct the second Ghostbusters. I think he was trying to get this movie done. And but yeah, and seeing the cast and everything, and I've been seeing like interviews from the cast, and yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to this movie. But yeah, when I saw you review it, I know you gave it a good review, obviously. I mean, I know it's like in that list. I mean, again, that's not a list that's supposed to be like, oh, it wasn't like you hated it, but you said it was like a pretty damn fucking good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tight, like 90 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
because it tells like the 90 minutes before they go live for the first
Yeah.
time. And it is
That's what I love.
Yeah,
I love
it is. It's very quick. The editing is so good. It's so quick. Jason actually introduced the movie, and he was saying that he didn't even really want to direct movies. What he wanted to do with his life was he wanted to write for SNL.
No
And,
shit.
yeah, he
I
wanted
love
to
that.
write for
I love
SNL, but what that you would pitch things for SNL, and
Yeah.
if Lorne Michaels would put it on the board, then you'd be set. But if you didn't, then it was like you were out of a job for like the night or the week or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why he started directing movies for the most part. And so when it like a Saturday night movie came across his table, he was like, well, I have to do that. And they let him shoot it on 16 millimeter, and it looks great. It looks very vintagey. And I have to say, like, the person that stands out to me is the actor that played Lorne Michaels. He was actually in The Fabelmans.
Yes, the main character, right?
Yeah, Gabriel.
Yeah.
I forget his
who
last
essentially
name.
played Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, he plays Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
And
Love that
then
movie.
Corey Michael Smith, he plays Chevy Chase. And I have to say, he played the Riddler in Gotham.
In Gotham. I was about to say,
Yeah.
is that guy? Yeah.
I have to say, I cannot, like, sometimes it was hard to tell, like, where the actor was and where his character, like, it was, like, seamless at times.
No shit.
He has, like, that arrogance, that swagger, that he's just such a dick sometimes attitude. And you know how, like, him and Dan Aykroyd just, like, never got along? Or no, not him, Dan Aykroyd, Belushi. They, like, didn't get along.
Yeah.
And stuff, and that rivalry is done really well.
Yeah, because like it's funny because Chevy Chase was only in season 1, and he was not in any more seasons after that. Like that was it.
Yeah.
And, because he bumped heads with people.
Yeah, and they show that, and I thought it was really well done. Some of the actors though, it kind of felt a little bit sometimes like it was just like them playing like dress up
Yeah.
like as the characters, but I think that more so just has to do with they really focused on like Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and Chevy Chase. They like focused on like the three main guys of SNL really. And but I loved it. It was like very chaotic, it was so funny. J.K. Simmons is in it, and I didn't even know that he was
I
going to
didn't
be in
know
it.
until this whole festival thing was happening. I was
Yeah,
like,
and he
"What?"
shows up, and I didn't know Willem Dafoe was in it until
Yeah,
he
him
shows
too.
up. Yeah, but I really liked it, and the ending is just, it was great. I
Yeah,
loved it.
can't wait.
I'm excited to see it again. I really didn't think I was gonna like it that much because like I'm not that big of a Saturday Night Live fan. Like
Yeah.
I watch like sometimes you get like the DVD like collections of like, oh, greatest hits of whoever on SNL, and you watch those or
Yeah.
whatever. And but have never like kept up with Saturday Night Live, but
Yeah,
it
see
is
that.
like they really like I think I said in my like quick review, like it captures like that energy so well.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jason Reitman is just like I don't know how he did it, but he did. I know some people don't really like the movie. I thought it was like it might be because like I was seeing like heavy movie after heavy movie after heavy movie,
You needed
and I just
something that
needed
wasn't as
something.
heavy, you needed something that was maybe a little funny, a little quick, a little
Yeah,
it
just
was
like
something that was different, it broke the mold of heavy.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And it definitely did that. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
good. Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm just, like, all about Saturday Night Live. I mean, obviously, when it came to after the cast of, like, when it came to Will Ferrell and Anna Gasteyer and Molly Shannon and
Mhm.
all those guys, and, Kristen Wiig and all that, I was, like, with it probably into the 2010s, and then it just kind of fell off for me, but every now and again, I mean, obviously, it just seems like every now and again, there's, like, a sketch that just comes out of Saturday Night Live that just starts making the rounds. I think the last one that did that was the Beavis and Butthead sketch with
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, and it was funny because I just watched the podcast with Mikey Day, who plays Butthead, and he just it was just fascinating to hear how that came to be because that sketch was pitched more than once,
Yeah.
and he talked about that, and he said like the brilliance of the sketch is not so much that that there's two dudes that look like Beavis and Butthead that are in the crowd. It's like you have to be like, well, what can be because you have two people talking about AI in the middle, and Keenan Thompson, of course, is like one of them, and he has to react to it. It's how that you have to base it around that. It's like, yeah, everybody's gonna love the fact that there's these two guys that look like Beavis
Yeah.
and Butthead, but you have to have like this, how do you make it funnier with like a serious topic? And he
Mhm.
said that was like the challenge because they had to figure out what was going to be the main topic in this kind of talk showy kind of weird thing. And it's like it was just kind of interesting because I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a lot of sketches memorable sketches in Saturday Night Live where you just kind of go, yeah, like, wait, yeah, the funny part is what's happening on the outside, but you still have to have something that's the base of it that makes it even funnier because it's such a serious thing. I don't know. It was just kind of interesting hearing him talk about that.
Yeah.
But what's also interesting about that first Saturday Night Live episode is like one of my favorite comedian of all time was George Carlin
Mhm.
hosting that show. And and then when I saw like who was playing him and how he looked, I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, they fucking nailed that right there. I'm like, look at him,
Yeah. He was
you know?
really good too,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, God, I cannot wait for this. I don't even know when that movie's coming out. See, that's the thing.
I
It's like a
think
lot of
it
these
comes
movies.
out I know, and that's the tricky part was, like, some of these movies, like that first movie I saw Presents, it doesn't come out until, like, January, and then, like,
Yeah.
like, Gia Coppola's movie, The Last Showgirl, I don't even think has a release date, and,
Yeah.
The Brutalist, doesn't have a release date, and, um, there's a few others that don't have a release date, so basically, in order to prove that you didn't just get a pass and just went and saw a bunch of movies for free, you know, um, and that you actually did something with your coverage, you have to like submit coverage by like December or something.
Okay.
So like I have to get these reviews done and all of that, and you want it to be relevant, right? Like I'm trying to get like some of these out before the movie comes out or like close to the release date, but also I have to get them done by a certain point in like December. I think it's like
Interesting.
December, like the mid-December or something like that. But it's difficult because some of these movies don't even have like just distribution yet. So, and it's sad because like you see a movie like, I mean, Gia Coppola, her last name is fucking Coppola.
Coppola, for God's sake.
Yeah, and I don't even think it doesn't even have a distribution company.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's another
and
movie
it's an
that, like,
amazing movie. Like,
that's
it is
I'm
fucking
fascinated because I watched the Pamela Anderson doc
yeah,
that came out earlier this year or last year. I
yeah,
can't even remember how long it came. And, you know, and I love watching docs, especially, I mean, you're watching somebody like her, who, of course, being a, let's face it, when I first watched her, I was watching Baywatch, and
yeah,
there's the
yeah,
Playboy, and there's well, actually, the first time I saw her was on Home Improvement when she was like the
yeah,
tool girl, and it was just like, but it was just fascinating to see her like in that documentary, and then of course I think she even kind of mentioned that she was working on something, and I think that this was this. And so that's another movie that's on my list that of a lot of, I mean, I want to see most of these movies, but top of the list, Saturday Night Piano Lesson, and Honora, and then it was called The Last Showgirl, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's Gia Coppola.
yeah,
She's the granddaughter of Francis Ford Coppola. And yeah, I mean it's a really great movie. It's literally like a role that is meant for Pamela Anderson. Like you watch the movie, and at least I was watching the movie and I'm like, can't think of a single other actress that would have such an impact on this movie in this role, because a lot of people don't know that Pamela Anderson started out her career wanting to be an actress. Like that's
mhm.
what she wanted to do from the get-go. And she uses a lot of her experience in the industry in this role. And it's basically just a movie about a showgirl that's kind of like aging out of being a showgirl. And it also has like 20 something showgirl, Kiernan Shipka. She was in the new Twisters movie.
Oh yeah,
Uh, and then it
name rings
has
a bell.
Brenda Song. She's like a 30 something showgirl.
She was
And
a
then
Disney actress, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's Pamela Anderson. She's like in her, I think she said she was in her like mid 40s or 50s. And then you have a retired showgirl, which is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And so it's like showing you like all of these different perspectives of these women that live in Las Vegas as showgirls in like an era where like the Vegas showgirl, like that aesthetic and like that type of dance is kind of like not like what people want anymore. And how like even though they're all women in like different walks of life, they're kind of like going through this like similar things. And it's just a really cool movie, like seeing women of like all different ages. I don't know, I loved it. And I think that Pamela Anderson, like she I mean, she walked out on stage and she was just like bawling. She had to like wear her sunglasses
Oh,
because
that's awesome.
she
I
was
love that.
in. And oh, Dave Bautista's in it too. And
Dave Bautista's in it?
yeah, yeah, he is. Yeah.
What?
He plays the manager of the showgirl
See,
club.
this
Yeah.
is why we love Dave
And
Bautista.
he wears the coolest wig. The
Oh, I'm
coolest wig
sure.
you will ever see. And yeah, and so he's just like this
Oh, I
huge
love that
teddy
guy.
bear of testosterone and like a sea of
Yeah.
estrogen in the movie. And
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That just
it's
made me
great.
want to see it even more because I didn't even know that. See, that's the thing is like when it comes to these movies, you don't even know fully. I mean, obviously Dave
Yeah,
Bautista has been promoting his new movie that's out this weekend,
yeah.
but you don't think it was like, oh, what he's in. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's cool to see, like, some of these big stars, like, going and doing, like, these smaller movies, and, like, Jamie Lee Curtis, we just said she just won an Oscar, and she's going and doing, like, this, like, small budget indie movie about Vegas showgirls, you know?
Yeah.
She could go and do anything, and she chooses to do this, and I think it's a movie that definitely is gonna I think I saw it, like I did, like, it was like a triple feature basically, but I saw it, like, right after I saw Anora, and it's just, like, it, like, gave me whiplash almost because it's, like, 2 movies centering around exotic dancers and, 2 very different stories, but
Yeah. Different tones, different things. Yeah.
yeah, it was really good, and, I just hope that, like, Pamela Anderson continues to do movies because she was really good in this, and,
After seeing the documentary, I'm rooting for
yeah,
her.
especially after what they did to her in that, like, Pam and Tommy show,
Yeah.
like, they basically made
Pam and
that
Tommy
show
show I didn't like that
they
much.
did that show, like, without her consent at all,
Yeah.
and,
Both him I've even seen interviews with Tommy Lee, and he's like, "Fuck
yeah.
that shit," It's like it's really I mean, nothing against Sebastian Stan and, I forgot who played Pamela.
Oh, she was
Lily
Cinderella. What's her
Yeah,
name? Oh,
yeah,
Lily James.
Lily James, there you go. They did a great job, I will say that, but I remember watching it, and I'm like, "Yeah, they didn't take this seriously at all."
No.
It's kind of like they did a good job acting, and they did a good job of how they looked. I was like I mean, it's just like, wow. And again, I'm like, I'm actually, I love Sebastian Stan. Like, he goes from playing Tommy Lee, Winter Soldier, and then he's playing Donald Trump in a new movie.
Oh
That's
my
just like a
god, I
young Donald
know.
Trump. I'm like, good for you, dude.
I was
You didn't,
surprised that that
yeah.
didn't show at TIFF. I was
So am
really
I. That seems
surprised
like it would be
because I
right up.
really wanted to see that. I really
Yeah.
did.
And when the trailer came out, I'm like, respect because he's not overdoing a Trump impression like everybody else does, and I've
Yeah,
done it
it's
too.
not like,
He's
what's
not
his
old
name
man
on
Trump.
SNL, yeah.
Yeah, old man Trump, I mean, obviously, it's gotten pretty crazy, but younger Trump, it's like, okay, just a little bit. But that's the
Yeah.
thing when you do biopics, it's like, and I remember when Jamie Foxx, which I'm still wondering if it's going to be happening, he got cast to do Mike Tyson in a Mike
Mm.
Tyson biopic, but I'm not sure what happened with that because I remember he was getting in like big time shape for it. But then I was like, well, I think I've seen him do a Mike Tyson impression, but it's very over the top where it's like, yeah, I'm just doing it in the lisp and everything. It's
Yeah.
like, you can't do that for like a 2-hour biopic. You have to like tone it down. So like anytime that they do a biopic on some of these figures out there that have a very distinct cadence, it's like you can't just do the Saturday Night Live impression or whatever impression because nobody's going to take it
No one
serious.
can sit there for 2 hours and listen to
Yeah.
that
I
shit.
can't. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to laugh and be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So you have to tone it down. And I'm like, good on Sebastian Stan for just like, I mean, when I saw he was cast, I was like, well, that's going to be interesting. And then when I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay, he's doing just
Yeah.
enough. And he's playing young Donald Trump. It's not current Donald Trump where it's like, I mean, it almost seems like Donald Trump's doing a Donald Trump impression himself. Like,
Yeah.
when you watch that guy, it's like, dude, are you just like leaning into this? What are we doing here?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Probably.
he is. I think he is. Yeah, when I saw the trailer and I saw some people like, he doesn't sound like Trump. I'm like, he sounds
Do
just
you
enough.
want him to sound like? Because like,
Yeah.
again, you have to go back to, like, you have to sit and watch the movie,
Mhm.
like, you can't just like, when you go to the theater, you have to sit there and watch it for, like, 2.5 hours probably. So, do you wanna sit in there and listen to somebody do a bad Donald Trump
Yeah.
impression for that? Because like, if you watch, like if you watched What If, like, uh Sebastian Stan isn't a very good voice actor. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't do very well changing his voice, like, that
No.
drastically.
No.
So, I think what he did in the trailer was great, and, if he can just maintain that for the runtime, I'll be fine. I'm excited to watch it.
So am I. I'm curious to see.
I know, and I think it's funny how like Donald Trump was all like, "Oh, I'm going to sue you guys," and then
it's all bullshit. Fuck this. Yeah, it's like
which,
no,
like,
we want to see some of this.
Added to people's intrigue. Like people are only going to want to watch it more now.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like
then they
are you
drop
just trying to sell it? Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, you're not squeaky clean. What are we doing here? You know,
we all know.
Yeah, you've done some shit, and we know that. But some people want to join in and say hi right now. We got Phil. We got William.
No, not William.
Look who it is. Look who it is.
Look who it is.
I think it's the first time we're on screen together because,
And it'll be the last if I have anything to do
probably
with
so, because every time I, send a link to somebody, they're like, "Ooh."
Well, because no. I have to defend myself.
I never saw that link.
This man down there,
that guy right there,
sends me a link at like 1 a.m.
Of course he does.
I'm in Vegas.
I work at 8 a.m. And
I'm still waiting for a legitimate. That's why you can't be on. Sleep is overrated. This sleep thing you guys are talking about.
Okay, I get done with work. Okay, picture this. I get done with work at about 4:30. I do my little things on my little computer, write my little reviews, close my computer, and I get stoned and fall asleep at about 9 o'clock most nights.
Hilarious.
So
that is hilarious.
I know, but I mean, I feel bad too.
And then Dave caught me. And as I was like this. I was like,
you had the joint right up your lip. Oh, jeez.
I caught her just in time. Even though
I had my PJs on and everything.
A high Meg would be fun. We should do a high stream one of these days. Anyways, I
was about to.
Yeah. I don't even know if I could do that. Anyways, yeah. There's been one time where it's been close. Anyways, what's going on, Phil?
That was quite the exchange I just witnessed. Wow.
I gotta give him shit. He gives me shit all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like a year sober from cannabis, so there's that.
I've been sober since September 74.
We're talking about me. You can wait.
I'm like, right.
No, it's good.
I don't know. I'm like, I'm not sober from any of that. Anyway, I'm like, I still have fun. Anyways,
I'm glad you had fun at TIFF, Meg. That all
Thank
that
you.
just looked.
Yeah, I mean, it was craziest, coolest experience of my life. I mean, the work isn't done. I've only written one out of about 25 reviews I have to do.
And your
movies did you see?
Is it the Wonder Watch list? Right?
Yeah, Wonder Watch list is my site that I made
out,
about.
Guys. It's let me bring up.
I made it in March. Oh, there it is.
Look at that.
There it is. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
Don't sign me up for porn in that email, please. That is my professional email. I will not accept porn in my email.
Wow.
I have a filter for it. But yeah, so
Strange Darling is another one I keep hearing good things about.
Oh, dude, so don't go into it blind.
Yes, I don't know anything about it, so I'm not, obviously it's probably going to be coming out on some streaming.
Dude, this year has been really good, I think, for like original horror and also like thriller movies. Like, I know people have stuff to say about my man M. Night Shyamalan.
Fuck, dude, Trap.
Okay, so I do stuff.
Thank you.
I do stuff with Vero, and I made a video. I make videos going to the theaters once in a while, and I gotta tell you, I got completely
once in a while.
destroyed.
It's like every time you go see a movie. What?
Okay, well, that's my job, unfortunately. So I made a video of Trap, and I got completely destroyed.
Dude, I do not understand why people hate Trap. I enjoyed the absolute shit out of that movie.
No. What? Trap, that ending for Trap. The ending was boneheaded, and Trap. No. It basically says everybody involved is stupid, including one particular character, which I won't spoil it because I know some people haven't seen it. No. You have to believe that they laid out all this intricate stuff, and then one bonehead just starts talking to the perpetrator. Hey,
listen. If Josh Hartnett is in front of me right now,
Miss Bliss. You talk about Miss Bliss because she was like in Saved by the Bell first season. I don't know if anybody knew that. I might be. You should know, William. You're older than me. Come on.
Okay. Anyway, you know what? I'll take that as an insult. No, I'm just kidding.
No, because that's who the FBI agent was. She was Miss Bliss in the first.
No, not that character. Not that character.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, I don't know. People are just weird when it comes to M. Night sometimes, and I don't know why.
Well,
I mean, sometimes I know why, but
Josh Hartnett,
that man can do no wrong,
dude. I mean, the fact that like when he made his, when he entered into, movies and everything, he was always just like the stoner dumbass, like, know. But at the same time, there was always something that was likable about him. Like when I think about the Faculty, like, dude, I'm like, okay. He was like, he was that character, but at the same time, he was the one that, like if you're gonna compare it to like The Thing, he was the one that that figured out the science of like how do we figure out who's fucking consumed by this goddamn alien. It's like he was like the smart guy, but the dumb guy. I don't know, the stoner guy. And then there's a lot of people say like, hey, he doesn't have range. I don't know about you guys, but I loved 40 Days and 40 Nights when it comes to a romantic comedy. That movie, I loved that movie. 40 Days and 40 Nights. I mean, it could be because I just had such a crush on Shannon Sosaman, but yes, it was like a smart romantic comedy movie that I just thought was great. So there's a lot of Josh Hartnett movies. Yeah, Pearl Harbor's cheesy, but it had its moments. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are like looking at that, but I mean, I remember there's that movie he did with I think it was called Hollywood Homicide or something Homicide with Harrison Ford. I enjoyed that one too. I don't remember what the title was, but I remember enjoying it. But yeah,
Josh I don't know. I had a lot of fun with Trap and. I don't know. People are just sometimes I don't know. They get very hyperbolic when they analyze movies, and they're like, "Oh, it's the worst movie I've ever seen." And I was like, I can name about 30 movies in the same week that I watched Trap in that are worse.
Have you seen The Crow?
Yeah, no, I actually haven't, and I refuse.
Neither have I.
Yeah, it's one of those.
And I refuse.
Yeah, don't.
But people are like, "Oh, it's the most fun you've had in theaters this month. You need to watch more movies." And I was like, "I guarantee I have watched more than you."
I know when they come at you like that, it's like, yeah. And I walked out of the movie. I'm like, yeah, what drove that movie was Josh Hartnett, and I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of conveniences that happen with the character, but at the same time. I don't know, just like when you go into that movie and you know what the story is, and then the first moment that his character starts looking over his shoulder of like, uh-oh, that's when the movie just goes, yes. I just go, okay, here we go. I'm like, what is he gonna do this whole time? And the whole time I'm going, yeah, what are you going to do, man? What is this? What's going to happen? It's so intense. And then there's just things where he's just looking around and everything. We lost William.
Dang. He was not happy with our talk about
He's not happy about Josh Hartnett. He's not happy about Josh Hartnett.
Darn.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that people can like suspend their disbelief for like comic book movies and like fantasy movies and stuff. But when it comes to like thriller or like horror movies, sometimes they're like, it has to make complete sense and it has to be completely based in reality for me to enjoy it. And like, I get it. Sometimes I get like that too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, if you can just like suspend your disbelief enough. And it took me a while to be able to do that. Like to be like, okay, this movie, it's a movie. I need to turn off my I need to suspend my disbelief to be in order to like totally understand it or to give it its dues, to give it its chance.
I think M. Night Shyamalan gets a lot of shit now. And that's the thing. He's like, a lot of people put him on this pedestal because of like, when it came to Sixth Sense and Signs and I think a lot of people keep on putting him in this pedestal. And I will say that, like some people, like when it comes to The Village, they're like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, What, you didn't think that was good? That was really good.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate for the
The
village
hate
either.
for the village, I do not understand. When it came to Lady in the Water, yeah, I was one of those. When I watched it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this was. This was not for me. And The Happening, yeah, it was a good concept, but the execution, yeah, definitely wasn't.
His last Airbender movie is.
Yeah, that was also.
But it gave us Dev Patel.
Yes. I didn't see it, so because I did not even know about the anime, so I was like, I'm gonna skip this one, but I saw all the hate. But then he came back with the visitor, like when it was like a first person, yeah. And then it was when it came to the kids, like visiting the grandparents. Fucking loved that movie. I was like, there we go. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. But it's like I think everybody just puts M. Night on this pedestal where it's like, oh, you're the guy that's gonna fucking blow my mind. And when they don't get their mind blown, like, and I'll admit too, sometimes I'm like, all right, what's M. Night doing here? And I'll start rubbing my chin, and I'm like, and I even did that with Trap, but at the same time, the way it played out, I still was like, you know what? This was Josh Hartnett fucking nailed this role, and the whole concept of this was M. Night was trying to show a father trying to be like, oh my God, I'm trying to balance two lives here. Like I'm literally like a psycho killer because my mom fucked me up apparently, and I'm doing this, but I love my daughter so much and I want to give her the world and I want to keep this going. I mean, there were shots in the movie where you just go like where he's just looking around, and especially there's like, one particular moment where his daughter like has like this great moment and he's just going, fuck. You could see it in his face where he's like, fuck, like I'm sitting here going, how do I get out of this? But at the same time, my daughter is having the time of her life. That's the whole thing about the movie is like him trying to give the daughter the world, but at the same time he's going, I'm fucked. How do I get out of this? That's so cool. And that's why I loved about the movie. Yeah.
I loved it. I can't wait to buy it.
Can't wait to buy it.
I wish more people would suspend disbelief when it came to Star Wars, but beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, they can't do that. What are you talking about? Star Wars is so it's religion. Hey, we got Axel. Hey, we got William back too.
Hey. Sorry, I had a customer I was to deal with.
The whole thing here. Hey, Meg. But Meg, if you have to leave, I know you're tired.
I can stay on for a little bit longer. I have to wake up.
More of a chat.
I'm trying to think of what time I even have to. Yeah, I don't even remember what day it is anymore. Really.
So I'll eventually send out your poster tube. It's got like a lot more posters to it now, so I just added one for you.
Dude, how big do you think my house is, man?
I don't care.
Was that James McAvoy?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And there's another one because every time I get one, right? I keep getting this in and out. Plus, I'm a horrible shipper, but I got a new shipper now, so everybody who's got like shirts from like 2 years can get their shit.
Hell yeah.
That includes Dave.
All I'm gonna say,
Dave, Meg, I told you William's not that bad.
I know, right? I know.
I heard you guys.
But I'm just saying, Meg, because we have similar tastes in movies. You're gonna love Speak No Evil. I'm just saying.
Here's your crow one.
Don't.
Oh, you know what?
No, get that out.
The only good thing about the movie,
You don't even need to send that one because Axel down here was trying to defend that movie, and then he didn't even like it.
I was.
It was a pretty.
I was trying to,
dude.
Yeah, you know what? It's still Skarsgård, so I get it, Axel. I get it. You wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, it was funny because Axel would be in my like the chats, and I see his tweets. He was defending it, but then when he saw it, he was like, "Oh,
I
fuck."
was.
You know what? That's fine because there's some people. There's some people that just like shit on it without giving it a chance. So I think I would rather have someone defending it with their life without seeing it than just shit on it without giving it a chance.
Like, I was so prepared to like this movie because like we went to the theater because like it was Eli's birthday and like we watched it for his birthday and so we wore like corpse paint and like I had my Eric Draven makeup on and I've never wanted to leave a movie theater more than that fucking movie. Holy shit. It is the biggest
I can't
like the
believe
first 30
it.
minutes, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, get to
Yeah.
the fucking point. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
We did a whole
no.
rant.
That's exactly
It's
what
so
I
bad.
was saying too. It was like, it's just like when you watch the original, and I get like, you know, people stick on the original like I do. I love the original so much,
Yeah.
but I'm not like the biggest,
We
crow, like,
watched it like the
shirts were cool,
next
though.
day.
yeah, that's kind of
I don't give
cool.
a shit about the shirts. I can burn that.
William's just like, here's a poster.
I got I
Yeah.
got like tons of shit here, right? Transformers. I mean, I wish you guys were here. We'd be leaving with some Transformers shit.
Ooh,
I
you
hope
got
I get some
Transformers
stuff
1.
tomorrow. I'm gonna be leaving.
Yeah,
that
I
shit.
she's
sent a
seeing
bunch
it
of people.
tomorrow.
I couldn't see it. I can't get up that early. Fuck that. I'm sitting in the crew to go see it. It's 10 a.m. in the morning, and you got to be in line. You know, so I sent one of our people there and to shepherd the kid. And it's all kids. They wanted kids. I had to give away Transformers toys to them.
Yeah, I'm bringing like 2 30-year-old dudes with me. So
Hell yeah.
But they wanted kids, so we gave away these things.
All I'm saying is look forward to Scott McClellan's review.
I know he told me that he's doing it with
Yes.
his sons.
He's
Yeah.
bringing
tomorrow?
his sons, and he wants to do a first reaction with all his sons.
Yeah, there's little itty bitty Megatrons I gave away.
There
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
Oh yeah, well
but it
here
looks-
I got something
Transformers
better.
1 looks like
Got
fun
this.
though.
I got
you got the
this.
Robin.
That's better than a
Oh,
Transformer.
yeah, I got something.
Well, it's for
here.
Transformer movies, so I don't think giving away a
Ooh.
Robin. I don't think Paramount would have been okay with those
Oh,
pictures.
she's got a Blade Runner going on. Oh, she's
Ooh,
got the
dang.
Which version is that?
videotape.
It's the
Got a VHS.
25th, no, the 10th anniversary.
Okay,
Pretty
that
cool.
was
That was
92. I actually have that somewhere. Not that same cover, but there's a 1992 version that came out.
Yeah, I thought it was
for the-
bootleg for the longest time. I thought someone just made this because
Yeah,
I'd
and then
never
they
seen
kinda
this
looks
cover
like it.
before.
They took
Yeah.
it out of print and put the
Awesome.
director's cut out per Ridley Scott. So the director's cut came out about 6 months later with no voiceover on it, which is awful. But
Yeah.
I know.
Nah, you
Ridley
gotta have
Ridley
voiceover.
Scott's director's cut's not the best director's cut,
Nah,
to be
nah.
honest.
sometimes the
It
editors.
doesn't help.
Oh
There's
my-
like fucking 700
Yeah.
cuts of that movie. It's like,
Seven.
what one
There
am
are-
I
there are
even
7.
supposed to
Like
watch?
pick your poison,
only-
but
they're
the
only
one that
7.
Ridley
Oh,
Scott
sorry,
likes, I don't know
only
if I like that
7.
one. It's good stuff. But
International
Meg,
cut is the best.
Meg, I actually wanted to ask you about the speaking of director's cuts, Rebel Moon. How are you feeling about those director's cuts?
Listen, I thought they were great, but I am just annoyed about the entire situation.
Okay.
To be honest, I feel like they start out different, especially the first one starts out way different. Like I read the first novel, and it's very true to the first novel. It's very and it's very different from the PG-13 cut. But when you're watching it, you're like, this isn't that bad. Like, I don't understand why there was even PG-13. Like, why did they do that route? Like, there's so much stuff on Netflix that is like just as bad or even more R-rated.
There's almost literal porn on there.
Yeah, that Netflix has made.
TVMA.
Right. Yeah, and so it's just like I was just kind of annoyed with, I don't think it was different enough to warrant them doing what they did, like making 4 different movies out of 2 movies. And I thought it was cool. I loved Nemesis. I think she was like the coolest character out of them all, like with the fucking swords and cutting off your own arms and shit. I thought that was so cool. But yeah, I mean, I have like all of the comics over here for the House of the Blood Axe. I have like all the action. I have like all of the merchandise and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of annoyed about the the situation, really. I feel like the PG-13 cuts left like a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. So like when I was watching the R-rated cuts, I was like, like, okay, yeah, this extended scene is cool, but it doesn't really, I don't know, change it that much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's.
And I feel bad for saying that, right? Because like I love Zach and I love his work.
Yeah.
And I really do like what they were doing with Rebel Moon and what like the stuff that they planted in Rebel Moon. and like the characters I feel like are very cool and original, but like still like the problems that I had in like the PG-13 cuts, I still felt like I had those problems in the R-rated cuts, like with some of the characters not really being like fleshed out enough.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Is like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I was trying to defend because I get why they, like why it was going to be that. And
like if they would have put it in theaters, I would have understood.
Yeah.
Or if they would have released them both at the same time, like let's say,
yeah,
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
Let's give you an option. Like it's part 1 is coming out today. You can either watch the PG-13 cut or you can watch the R-rated cut. I would have went with the R-rated cut at first because it's like, okay, I'm going to be watching this with like no other context in my head. I'm going to be watching it for what it is instead of watching the PG-13 cut, which in your head, you already kind of have like a negative like connotation in your mind because you're like, oh, this is already like the quote unquote cut down version of the movie. So yeah, I mean, I get the reasoning, I guess, but I don't know, it's just kind of I just felt bad like for the situation that like Zach had to do that like with his movie. And I don't really know like the logistics of it, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing because like obviously there was like when the director's cuts came out, there should have been more of like a, hey, here we go, this is what, but a lot of people were like, we're kind of done with this. But it was kind of weird because when it came to me, and see, you guys didn't have the luxury of like seeing these on the big screen. And I
saw
know
part 1 in theaters. They did a press screening for part 1 here in theaters, so I went and saw that. Right. And then when I reached out to see if they were doing part 2, they were like, yeah, we're not doing anything. And I was like, yeah. So I was already like, oh, that's not good.
And then there was like the whole thing of like, when are they going to be doing the director's cut stuff? And then that got wonky because it was like one of those things. Because I think we even talked about that messaging, and I messaged with other people too, because it was like, okay, if they're going to do like a whole thing when it comes to the director's cuts, hey, can we get like, can we know exactly when this is going to happen? So then, people who are not close to here can come in and like, hey, we could show our support and have a whole thing of it. I think, like even the fact that I went to the director's cut screenings, I still kind of wish it was not all in the same day. I mean, it was fine because there was like a little intermission and stuff like that and whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, it was a long day. I mean, I remember getting up, I drove out to LA, and of course I thought it was going to be, my Google Maps says it's going to be this. And then it takes a lot longer because it's traffic. So I barely made it in time. And then of course, it's a full day. Like I literally just like woke up, got ready, drove out there, barely made it, and then of course I'm getting home at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. It was just like a long day. I mean, but for the most part, I was like, all right. I mean, when I saw them, I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool. Like when I watch those movies, if I could just forget about what the PG-13 cuts were, I'm just going, I just kind of like was trying to put that in my brain of like, don't remember all this. It's hard to do that. But at the same time, I was just like, all right, this is what Zach wanted. There's like, it's a different color palette. There's more graphic violence. It's this, like this, and it definitely worked for me more because I had lost interest. I mean, I've admitted it. I was like, when it came from part 2 coming out to now, I was like, Rebel Moon director's cuts are coming out. I even thought about not going to the screening. So I'm like, do I even want to do this? Because this is like this is gonna be a whole day.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I want to support and do all this. And ended up being a fun day. Sure, it was a long day, but at the same time, it was just like, yeah, I just kind of, it's just the way that they, you know, and I was really hoping that the experiment was going to work. And I get that there was a lot of people out there, and I was like, yeah, I understand it's not conventional and it's not wait. I'm like, well, let's just wait and see if it worked. And looks like it didn't.
Yeah, like I feel like they tried to like hop on board. Like, you know, Snyder Cut came out, it was a beautiful thing, you know, the fandom was like
Yep.
for the most part united behind Zack and what he was doing, and it really helped Army of the Dead too, you know, they both released around the same time, so I feel like Netflix saw that and was like, how can we somehow replicate or, you know, create hype around Rebel Moon, even though there's already a hype for it. You know, you don't have to, you know, try to replicate the Snyder Cut hype. Like, it's Zack, there's already hype for it. And you have to like look at it. The fandom was fighting for how many years and advocating for so many years to get the Snyder Cut out. People were tired. Like, people didn't want to have to fight or like ask for something that we were told was already going to be coming out, you know? Like, when the first trailer for Rebel Moon came out and it said part 1 and part 2, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And then it says like, "Oh, there's going to be R-rated cuts." And I was like, "Oh, here we go again," you know? Like, it just like kind of takes the wind out of your like your lungs. Just like, "Great." Like, you spend all of these years like asking Warner Brothers and like petitioning and doing all of this stuff for the Snyder Cut. And what everyone did, like no matter like if it was like one hashtag or multiple hashtags, like it was a beautiful thing. And then Netflix is like, "Oh, you guys have no problem doing that again, right? Like we're just going to do this, but it's just going to be like a fun little thing." And like we're gonna give you the PG-13 cut, and we're just gonna make you wait for Zack's true vision. And it's like, but nobody wants that. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to be like a fly on the wall during like that meeting where they're like they come up with the idea for that. And I get it, like Zack had to agree to that in order to get like the R-rated cuts, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, I don't know. I haven't really been like very up to date with like the comings and the goings and the behind the scenes stuff for it, because like, you know, after a while it just kind of gets exhausting, you know?
Well, I mean, it was. I mean, what we did, like what happened between, like, you know, I guess you could say from 2018 to 2021 was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and I was thinking about that too, especially with you coming on and just the voices that came out there, and it's kind of funny too because I do want to give a shout out to one of the big voices when it came to Snyder Cut is Chris Wong Swenson. I don't know if you guys saw his latest.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you guys see this? You guys saw it? Dude, I mean, you know what? When I saw that on my homepage, I went, "What?" I was like, I saw, and I immediately clicked on it and I watched it, and you know, and it's good on Chris. Good on Chris. You know, I'm like, power to him. You know, when he became one of the big voices when it came to this, and I love the fact that that he is now in a place where he is just like, you know what, this is my life now, and I've done, you know, and he's done some good things in real life, and he really disconnected from the online noise and all this stuff, you know, and it was interesting to from seeing his, I mean, because obviously when he was coming up and we connected with each other, and I remember having him when I did like was doing like a different kind of podcast, and then of course going on his show, and then of course when it came to the Vodka stream and him showing up frequently on the Vodka stream and being his voice and everything like that, it was just it's cool to see that. Then of course when the Snyder Cut came out, I mean, we're over 3 years now. It's crazy to think about that. And then of course, everybody just kind of goes like, well, all right, we all just kind of like, all right, let's do whatever the hell we want. And Chris, like, he did definitely, when it came to his channel, he got into the Power Rangers thing and he blew up. Like, he found a different niche, blew up. But I think a lot of the noise of blowing up there, and then the noise of, after the Snyder Cut, and then of course still being excited for more Superman because he's a diehard Superman fan. There was a lot of noise there. I think it just got to the point where he was like going, all right, I just, this is not me. This is not, it's getting too much. It's too much. And, when it came to his job in real life, it was like, apparently he's done very well for himself. And then he was like, I'm doing this whole thing where I'm helping a community. I'm doing all this. I don't need this stuff. And one of the things that when I took from that video is the fact that it's like, I can go to movies. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine and I didn't know anything that was going to happen because I'm not constantly scrolling. And I'm like, there's a part of me that goes, man, that must be nice. Of course, I'm never going to be in that if I'm doing this. I'm always going to be like, hey, I'm talking about this fucking all the time. And a lot of us are, we're in this space. But, it was just kind of nice to see that. And I'm like, oh, hey, you took that approach and cool. And he deleted all his other videos.
Yeah, all his videos are gone, man.
All his videos are gone. And that takes balls because he built up quite a fucking, fan base and everything, like, and I remember like him telling me, it was like, oh yeah, you were an inspiration, which I was like, I don't know how to take that because I'm like, what am I? I'm just talking shit and I don't know what I'm talking about. But and then he built up and he got even like, he figured out the game and he was getting a ton of views and stuff, and then he just fucking deleted it all and said, you know what, this is my life now. And I'm curious to see if he continues on with this whole vlog type of, world where he's retired and, he's picking up his kids and he's doing all this stuff.
Making breakfast. I mean, he did a video of him making breakfast.
Those eggs, he makes some good eggs. Those eggs were looking pretty good. I was like, good eggs, man.
I'm like, I'm a fan of eggs. I found him 5 minutes after I found you, so it was weird.
See, that's the thing. I know, and a lot of people have said that, William. That's the thing. Is like, a lot of people's like, you and Swenson, man, you were the guys, and I'm like, yeah. And then he, and I get it. And I always, when it came to Swenson, I was like, he's the nicest guy in the world. And I always would say, like, that's my baby boy right there, even though I'm very much more the child than he is because he's got like a family and kids, and I'm just still going like Superman, Batman, and I'm just like, I didn't take the approach he did, but at the same time, I was like, when I saw hate go towards Chris, and I was like, fucking A, man, it would piss me off because I'm like, no, direct that towards me. I'll take that shit. I'll deflect it. I'll do all that. I'm like, but him, don't do that to him because he's not, and I think maybe it did get to him at one point where it's like, I need to just totally just wipe this out. And I'm like, good. Cause it could affect mental health. It could totally, I mean, no matter who you are, I mean, it could affect the mental health. We get it all the time. If you want to be a voice in anything, you're going to, no matter what, you're going to get shit sent to you. Yeah. And, you have to really build that thick skin. And I think like when it came to Chris, is like, I think he said what he needed to say when it came to a lot of things. And then it came to the point where it's like, I don't need to do this. I want to do things like this. And I totally respect the fact that he's taken this approach now where it's like, all right, yeah, it's all about your family and your community. There's nothing wrong with that. And I hope he continues to post videos about all that. And he doesn't, I mean, if he ends up diving back into all this stuff, cool. And maybe he'll take a different approach on it. I don't know. We'll see. But, I haven't talked to Chris in a long time because he totally just disconnected from all this stuff. But when I saw that video, I was like, I was happy for him, totally happy for him. And I think for his mental health and for his family's sake, that was a good approach to do, because yeah, man, when you want to be a voice in like a community, guess what? Yeah, you gotta have some fucking, yeah, it's not always easy.
The thing about it is, even though this is what brought us together, I'm not necessarily sure if it needs to define everything we do going forward.
No,
Yeah.
It's like a shadow, like everything, like you can't just enjoy a Zack Snyder movie without, having, and say it somewhere without having to, put on some armor or anything else, going forward. It's like its incompleteness hangs like a shadow over everything, whether we want it to or not. Sometimes, like, even if you want to talk, I mean, I don't talk as much about DCU, this far out as a lot of other people, but it still hangs over that. I mean, it's not even connected, but its shadow just kind of like dominates every conversation, whether you bring it up in the conversation or not. It's like, somebody either, uses it as a cudgel against you. You don't even have to say the word Snyder or Justice, anything like that. It's just somebody is out there just being a shithead, and it just aims their baseball bat at you. And I see so many of your posts that don't have anything to do with anything, and then it's like they'll post 2 or 3 times, and then that fourth part they're like, okay, I'm not going to drag it out of them, so I'm going to throw it at them. And it's like, it's kind of sad, but it is. There've been plenty of other movies that have come out. And it's a lot of weight to carry on in the conversation. It's at some point, I don't define this show from the moment that brought me onto you, and neither with Chris Wrong. I mean, he'd had a Saturday night show, a live show that I loved, man, and he would.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Talking, power. I mean, all kinds of stuff that we hardly ever talked about any of that stuff, but yet it does add a lot of lead to any conversation, unfortunately.
I know. I think the first time I came on the Vodka stream was Justice Con. Wasn't it, like, to promote it?
Yeah, because the first Justice Con that was happening, I got you and the Nerd Queens on.
And that feels like...
Fuck.
Oh my
80
God.
years ago. Huh?
That was
I was in like... It was like 3 houses ago that I lived in. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like there's so many times where things come about when it comes to, I mean, I think it was like a few weeks ago when, James Gunn was, posted some, about the Chocos, and there was some like, back and forth when it came to certain things with that. And I don't know, there was like a whole thing that happened with that. But at the same time, I was like, when I remember when I saw James Gunn post that, and I get that now everybody's like on board with what James Gunn's doing, but at the same time, when I saw that and I saw people, and I got brought into a thread that where people were going, what the fuck is this guy doing? What the hell is this? So like, 99-cent store Oreos, where there's like, dude, that's part of the fucking lure. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna remember when Scott interviewed Harry Lennox in the 2021 Justice Con, where they had that moment, because it was my favorite moment of that whole Justice Con. And I posted that in that little thread, and then I posted it on my Twitter altogether. And it was just like, it was like moments like that happened during that time where it was just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, there was just like things that were happening during all that time between 2020 and 2021 and all this stuff, where it was just such a, like, it was a crazy moment. And, I remember even talking to you so much, like, Meg, when it came to, because you were handing, especially the first one, it was like a lot of things. I don't think I wasn't a part of the first one. I was part of the second one. The first one, it was such a like interesting thing. And it was just like watching that from afar and being like, man, this is just something really cool. And, and that's how we all just kind of like, a lot of us came together when it came to all that was going on during that time. And it's just like, fuck, crazy it was that long ago.
I know. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, you just think of like, that's how like some people like remember you. Like, even when I was at TIFF, like I was like with friends, and like that's how they were like introducing me to their other friends. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm the Justice Con chick. to some people, you know, and I'm the, I don't know. It's interesting when you look back and kind of like reminisce on all of it and see like where we're all kind of at now and like where the fandom is now. And I don't know, like William, you were saying like it's like all part of all of our identities, you know, but like it doesn't like define all of us. And
no,
I don't know.
It
It
shouldn't.
is.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, we did that whole thing, and you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie that there was times where I thought, oh shit, I mean, now that this is all done, am I just gonna lose a fan base now that I'm doing this? It's like, well, there's always gonna be that part where they go like, you know, and I get that shit all the time. It's like, man, you know, I'll get some people that look like, well, how can you fucking support this? And when you were supporting this, I'm like, dude. And then of course there's like the extreme examples where it's like, you know, you got some of the Snyder people that are just like going very extreme on certain things where I'm like, yeah, I can't go that far. Sorry guys. I love, you know, keep on talking about, you know, DC Snyder stuff. Sure, I'm okay with that. But at the same time, you know, yeah, I can look forward because I'm a DC fan. I can look forward to some of this right here. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things we could look forward to, but yeah, when I go to like, you know, the last thing I went to, of course, was the Rebel Moon director's cuts, and I mean, it is still surreal where everybody's like, where I, you know, I'll literally just get approached by somebody is like, and I remember there was specifically this one dude who traveled across country on train. He traveled across country on train to go to these screenings. I think he was actually here for the whole week to do, because there was that whole week where they were showing Zack Snyder films.
Oh,
yeah. And then, of course, there was like the Twilight of the God stuff. So at least he didn't just show up just for one thing. He showed up for numerous things. But he just like stopped me and he was just like, dude, you and Swenson, man, you kept the hope up. And he said that. He was like, you kept the hope up, man. That was you guys. And that's why I'm here right now. And it was just like one of those things. I mean, obviously I'm like going, I don't know how to say this. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I'm just, you know, it's always like a weird thing, but it is an interesting thing when people recognize you for a certain thing, like what you're saying, Meg, because, you know, I've gone to other premieres and stuff like that where people approach me and like, hey, are you Film Junkie kind of thing. And it's like, it's a weird thing because they know me from that time because it was such a big thing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wild.
Crazy. Yeah, no, it is. It definitely is. But, you know, hey, we're still doing our thing. And Meg, if you need to go, I know you're tired. I feel like we're keeping you.
It's fine. It's
okay.
fun. I'm good.
Okay, I'm making sure because we could talk about, you know, we could talk about more stuff too. Because hey, we got Chris Valga that's going to be showing up right now. Hey, what's going
Fashionably
on?
late. Fashionably late.
Okay. I know you had some, you know, other things to record, which sounded cool. You know that we might see in the future.
I can tell you off air. I'm not allowed to talk about it on air yet.
That's what I love. I love that. I love
but
it.
It was a nice surprise, and my friend Joe has got. Check out Walk Through the Multiverse this Tuesday. There's going to be a fun guest on. So.
Ooh, a fun guest. I like that. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. But thank you for joining, Chris. You know, we're just kind of reflecting on, you know, the last few years. You know, we got Meg here, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we ran through a lot of the stuff when she was at TIFF, which just sounds like an amazing.
That sounded like a great opportunity. I mean, you've had some. I mean, getting to talk to the creators at SDCC, but now going to TIFF and seeing that was a great shot of you and Amy Adams too.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I even got like I was like shaking when I was taking the picture, but
such a good picture too. You did a good job.
Thank you. Yeah, years of training for that moment.
You gotta hold.
Hold it. Yeah. Well, it's funny because like basically the entire festival, I was only eating like Tim Hortons, you know, like coffee and like bagels. So like so like malnutrition, which I mean, not malnutrition. I've been like dieting and like exercising and like been on a weight loss journey like the last like basically like a year now, which has been great.
job.
But
I like it.
I know I've lost about 60 pounds, I think.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank
Good job.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
So like I guess it's been like prepared me for like being in a calorie deficit for like the last 7 gosh darn days. But yeah, just Tim Hortons, bagels, and coffee. So I was shaking, needless to say, from nerves and just starving from meeting Amy Adams and then walking away. I was just like, oh my god,
I can't believe. I know. I mean, when you posted that and then just seeing like,
and it immediately blew up. Like
it blew up.
I had
Yeah.
I had to turn my phone off when I was in my screening because like
I was about to say
the next movie I went to, because I turned it off because like for one, like I was roaming in Canada, so that like drains your battery anyways.
yeah.
So and like my phone was just constantly going off. My mom texted me about 15 times, like, "Oh my god, you met Amy Adams." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." But yeah, no, just the cool. I'm totally gonna be like that person that prints that picture off and gets a frame.
You should.
Oh, yeah,
somewhere
you
else.
absolutely
should.
should.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause it's
I
such a
might
good
even
picture.
print out the picture I took of Ray in his car saying hello.
Yeah, do that.
I know.
If he's okay with it, you know. I'm sure he's perfectly okay with it.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact,
yeah.
when you said that Ray like called out your name, I mean, that's got to be. I mean, I mean, it was funny. It just to have that.
I
Just to be like,
know.
wait,
Just
somebody's calling me, and it's Ray.
yeah,
What
because
the
like you can't see into the cars at all.
Oh no, not
But
at
I
all.
was just like, I knew I was spacing out and like looking into this car. Like I was just like looking into like this tinted window. And I was just like, I was on about 2 hours of sleep. It was my third movie of the day. And I was like, oh, I just can't wait to go sit down. And all of a sudden, like the window rolls down and it's just like someone yelling, Meg? And I was like, yes, where, what? And it was Ray.
again,
Just, yeah.
Again, it just shows you like these, you know, Ray, because I remember when I went to the first Rebel Moon premiere and Ray showed up. Obviously, he was just a ball of just, you know, charisma.
Oh, yeah.
And just
He's
all that stuff. And he walked up to the crowd, and then I was in the front row, and then we just fist bumped. He's like, looked at me, he was like, fist bump. And I was like, does he know me? I don't know. It's just like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if he knows like the face or the whatever the fuck, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, I want to believe that he was like, oh yeah, you're that guy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't. He just fist bumped. But at the same time, it's just like one of those things where you go, fucking A. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, just the sweetest dude ever. Like I was like, I don't even like need a picture with him. I don't need to like share that with, you know, I don't need to post the picture. I don't need to do like that was just like the coolest experience ever. Like just being in that moment, and then people in line were like, who is like what do you know him? And I was like, it's a long story. And
yeah, we're kind of friends.
And like the lady behind me in line, because I was the first one in line for the movie, she was like, oh, he's so handsome and blah blah blah. And I was like,
looking dude.
He is.
It's a very good looking dude.
And I think his mom was in the car with him, and it was just like, it was really, it was just the sweetest thing ever, you know. Like I always love watching Ray at like those kinds of events, because you can just tell that he's just like taking all of it in, and he's just so in the moment. And because there's a few actors that like you see at some of these events, and they just are like kind of going through the motions, because like they're just such big stars. But he, like, and everyone in the piano lesson, like during the Q&A, they just seemed like this was like the coolest experience ever. Like they were just so appreciative of like the crowd and the reception of the movie, and just being there with each other. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm just like nostalgic for it already.
No, I get it. I get it. And I get what you're saying too. Is like if you go to these events, it's like you can pick like, you're just here for that.
You're like,
But-
Elizabeth Olsen had a movie called The Assessment come out, and
really,
yeah, it was called The Assessment, and it's by a director. I can't pronounce her name. It's like it's a very French name, like Florence Returne or something like that. It was her first movie, and it's a very impressive movie. But during the Q&A, it just seemed like Elizabeth Olsen just didn't really want to be there at all, and I kind of felt bad. She was probably like jet lagged or something, but it just kind of felt like she didn't want to be there, and it was just like. And it has Alicia Vikander in it too, and
okay. Oh yeah, I've heard about this movie. I saw
and Alicia Vikander was just like a ball of energy, so it kind of like made up for like. I think she was probably jet lagged or something, but it just seemed like she didn't really want to answer any questions.
Yeah, it's got to be rough. It's got to be rough.
Yeah,
when you're, like,
especially
because
people are like screaming for her outside. You know, she's like one of the biggest stars of like the MCU. So
that's the thing. I mean, that's gotta be an effect too when you're like, all right, I'm gonna be in this like small movie, but you were in these big movies where everybody's going, oh my god, Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Witch. You know, it's like, no, I'm not about Scarlet Witch right now. I did this.
I do other things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a person. Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, you know, it's got to be difficult to do that, you know, just to be like, you know, I was really passionate about this role right here, and then everybody's like, oh my god, you know, it's like you play.
It's like when like people in interviews just keep asking these actors questions about these superhero roles. That's what always annoys me sometimes. It's like, talk about what they're doing right now. Sure, maybe ask them later, but
yeah. Which luckily they didn't do any of that. Like they opened it up for like some people to ask questions at the Q&As, and there really wasn't any like superhero questions, which I was glad because I was like, I don't want to hear someone ask her about, you know, another Scarlet Witch movie or something. And I'm sure she doesn't want to answer that.
Yeah, I know. She's like, what's the future? What's the future of this? And blah, 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 blah.
How many times do I have to give the same answer I've done 50 times and not come off like an a-hole?
Yeah.
But, yeah, check your mic. It sounds like you're using computer audio on your thing there. Yeah. Make sure the settings are good in StreamYard. You know, that happens every now and again. Yeah, that happens every now and again, but it sounds like you're using your computer's mic because you're very echoey in that. So double check it.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. I can hear my echo. Yeah. Double check that. But okay, so before you leave, Meg, I do want to get your input because I know you know, when it comes to future of DC stuff, you are, of course, a fan of Batman.
Oh yeah, the Batman.
And we got the Penguin coming out, which is coming out what next
week?
Yeah, like the 19th. Yeah.
So good, and the reviews are great. Obviously, we're looking forward to it. Are you disappointed that Matt Reeves just kind of said that no Robert Pattinson in the Penguin?
Not really. I mean, as much as I love him, you know how I
know
love
you
that
do.
man.
We watched Twilight together one time. Oh my god,
yeah, we did. We still have to watch the other 3.
I know, right? I know. I'm like, oh shit.
No, I watched the first one a few months ago. No.
Nobody asked you, Axel. Nobody asked you. You know, they're making an animated Twilight movie.
I know. I heard about that. I'm like,
Midnight Sun.
Yeah, they're making Midnight Sun.
Yeah,
which is from Edward's perspective. Anyways, I'm excited for the Penguin. I think it's going to be. I think it's interesting. I think I loved Colin Farrell as the Penguin, so I don't necessarily think Batman really needs to show up. So, or Robert Pattinson
like
as Bruce Wayne or whatever.
Cameo.
You know, well, didn't he say that Batman's not showing up? He didn't say Bruce Wayne wasn't
true, but I think he actually,
got a point.
Matt Reeves,
he said
Reeves recently came out and said Robert Pattinson not in it.
Hey, look, you know what? I'm just going to be quiet because I may or may not know some things. I'll just.
Oh, yeah. There's some people that have seen the entire series. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I should have gotten.
I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot that the show was even coming out.
You had a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I got an email about like interviewing someone from like the crew, and so fingers crossed, it still works out. But so that's how I even remembered that the show was. I thought it wasn't coming out until like around Halloween. So I am still looking forward to it. I think Colin Farrell was like one of my favorite parts of the Batman movie. So, and then today, didn't they just say that like Batman 2 takes place in the winter or something?
Yeah,
They
so
did,
that's
yeah.
so everybody's
so.
like kind of going about like, hey, guess what? I mean, if it's gonna be winter time, which I think is beautiful, but then everybody's like, it's got to be Mr. Freeze that's gonna be this antagonist that Matt Reeves was talking about. But then I'm just kind of going like, okay, he's been talking about. There's been hints about it for a while. And then I'm just kind of going like, Matt Reeves, if you can ground a Mr. Freeze as much as possible, fucking A. I'm going to be impressed.
I actually looked into this today when I was doing like in between testing at work. I was like, is there a way to ground a character like Mr. Freeze? And the only hurdle you could really find would having to be like, how do you get around him falling into a vat of like, below zero fluids and having that affect his biology? That would be the only real hurdle you find yourself around. Other than that, like liquid nitrogen is a thing. You could easily have him just freezing people left and right.
William, I think, has like brought up like an example. I think. Well, he's not here now, but like
Dexter season one of Dexter, where you had the ice truck killer. You could do something like that. There's a lot of ways to do grounded. Non-fantastical.
Yeah, you could make him like an eco-terrorist, kind of like make like especially if they're going to do like Poison Ivy too, like Poison Ivy, a realistic grounded take of Poison Ivy, or Mr. Freeze could be like someone combating like climate change, but they kind of get like a little,
loopy,
little baddie, a little crazy, and they become like an eco-terrorist that like Batman has to like take out or something.
Well, like Poison Ivy, even going back to her Golden Age and Silver Age roots, she wasn't even like superhuman meta ability. She was just a straight up eco-terrorist.
Yeah,
exactly. So, like the newest run of Poison Ivy. Or I don't know how many like issues. I haven't read it in a while, but she's basically like a bioterrorist that like is infecting people through plants.
Yeah,
and it's very, very much like Annihilation types of like body horror and stuff, which in the right hands, I think that Matt Reeves could do something really cool with if he chose to do like a Poison Ivy, or even if he went the route of, a Mr. Freeze, which I'm hoping, because Mr. Freeze is fucking awesome.
Of course.
Get Dave Bautista to be Mr. Freeze. I'd like to see that. I think
bring him back. Bring him back.
I'm sorry, but Dave Bautista.
I've been meaning to say your shirt is awesome, Meg.
Thanks. I got it in Boston.
Yeah.
When were you in Boston?
In June, I went there for a wedding. Listen, this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Crazy.
I went to Boston in March. That's why. Yeah. Okay. I remember now. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. This year's been nuts, but yeah. Make them an eco-terrorist. That I think that would be the easiest way to make them make them grounded, and I don't know. I think it would mesh very well with kind of the world he's already created.
Yeah, I mean, like when everybody was talking about like Clayface being a part of him, it's like you guys got to realize that like the Clayface that you guys know about, which is the big monster that could do a lot of crazy things, that was created specifically for the animated series. Clayface in the beginning was very much not that, and the Golden Age. I think it's the Golden Age.
He's a makeup artist.
Yeah. He's just like a
really carry a movie as a villain. Or so?
What's that?
Can Clayface really carry the movie as a villain?
I think he could.
I think he could.
Depends on which Clayface we're talking about too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when people were thinking about like, oh, the big monster Clayface, I was like, not really. I don't really see him as the villain. More like a secondary or like even a third villain. but like.
Okay, so the second Clayface was actually the one that changed his shape, the Detective Comics 298. I wouldn't expect to ever see that one in the Matt Reeves movie, but his predecessor would be, the guy who changed his face. It's kind of like the Chameleon for Spider-Man. Yeah, originally the Chameleon for Spider-Man did his own face like that because he was a makeup artist, and eventually he got that mask that was able to change his face. So you could do it that way, but I would, if he ever did Clayface, he would probably be the first one, more indicative of the first one, which probably would let a lot of people down because a lot of people are not aware of that version of Clayface.
Well, I mean, they might know now since like Caped Crusader came out, and like, what did everyone think of Caped Crusader, by the way?
I didn't watch it.
Loved it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was. I wish that it came out in 1992.
I
haven't watched
Ghost
all
episode
the
is
episodes
easily the
yet,
weakest one, but it's good.
Which one?
I thought
the
thought
Gentleman's
it was,
Ghost episode is easily the
Yeah,
weakest.
Gentleman's Ghost was an interesting one, but I mean, I did like the whole aspect, with Alfred being involved with it. That was the last. I still have like 2 episodes. Yeah, it was a little bit like
in black and white, and it was. I thought it was an all right show.
It's good enough.
I think it should. I don't think it should all drop at once, because like the conversation isn't really here. I mean, there's people talking about it, but like I think it would have helped if it dropped weekly. But I don't work for Amazon.
That's what I wish it would have done.
Dang, you don't work for Amazon? I thought you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Amazon's typical with that. With a lot of their first season, they'll drop it all once, but the next season they'll be like episode a week
dropped.
Yeah. And apparently we're getting a season 2. We might get a season 3 too. Matt Reeves was teasing that today. So I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I even got into it with some people on Twitter. It was like, it was horrible because when it came to that Bo DeMeo guy, who did X-Men 97. Somebody I saw a tweet where people were like, "Oh yeah, somebody on his stream said you should go to DC and do what you did with X-Men to Batman." I'm like, "What? They just did something like that? What are we doing here? Like
they're totally different."
Yeah, it's like, and then I'm like, I still don't know about Bo DeMeo because I'm like, he's a little.
Yeah, me too.
I want to not hear his name. I mean, I want him to just kind of disappear for a while because every time he pops up, his lawyer.
He's got the worst PR people telling him what to do.
Well, he has to have the worst lawyer too.
Does he have any PR people?
When you're
that's another point, man. Because
if he does, he's clearly not listening to them.
Yeah. If you're
going
to
do it on OnlyFans, let's do that. Yeah.
If you're going to say I'm going to reveal the truth on my OnlyFans under a paywall, that just does not give me any kind of credibility to you. I'm sorry. You're like, I'm going to reveal the truth on your OnlyFans, so I get to hear the truth and also see some dick pics. What are we doing here? Like, I mean, what are we doing? I don't want to see that.
I think his OnlyFans is non-explicit. So.
Oh, okay, good.
I can't find his OnlyFans anywhere. Hold up.
Okay.
Probably hasn't linked.
We're not going to show any pictures on the Vodka stream.
I gotta sign up. I don't want to do that.
No share screen.
But I'm just saying, like, I mean, when you're doing that, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, like, I was like kind of going, maybe there was something here, but it just seems like, him and his PR it's not looking good because I don't know. It's just not looking good and so somebody suggested that, and then I was like, what are we doing here? Like, somebody already did. We're already into like another Batman series,
and we keep getting so much Batman stuff. Like, can we get a Wonder Woman thing, or even something else?
Get something else. Yeah, I mean, and it seems like Caped Crusader is going to get a season 2, and it might get a season 3. I don't know, just depending on. So it's like, start investing in some of the other characters that do like their own thing too when it comes to these animated series. And
also, I got a really hot take about Caped Crusader. I'm kind of like
Axel with a hot take. No.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting a bit tired of the Bruce Timm art style. I mean, it didn't really look that. It looked a bit static in Caped Crusader. That's what I'll say. I still love that style, but it's been overused a lot. Like, I wish they didn't use that art style for Gotham by Gaslight, because I wish they used the art from that comic. And like, I'm gonna stop talking.
I don't know if Mike Mignolia's art would transfer into animation.
Oh, it does.
I like him. I don't know if that maybe. I mean, I'd have to see that to believe that. But I mean,
have you seen William? I brought it up before. Like, have you seen The Amazing Squirrel Head?
No, we pulled it up though, didn't we? Didn't Brad pull it up for us or something like that?
I don't know. Blame Brad. I don't know. But like
it's easier.
Yeah. Yeah, let's watch it here. No, I'm kidding. But no, it looks
like I heard
really,
none of that.
It looks really amazing. Like it's just like a 22-minute pilot. Shame it didn't get more episodes. That would have been really cool, but yeah.
Well, some things are better left in the drawer. Anyway.
It's true. But yeah, I have not finished the Cape Crusader fully, but I'm trying. I'll get through it. It's so funny because like when it comes, if I could do like the week, I actually like the weekly thing because it's like when it's all at once, I'm just like
the conversation going.
It does. That's the thing. So like yeah, when things are released weekly, it just seems like it's easier to be like because I just. On a Saturday morning, sure, I could watch like a couple of episodes, but then I start going, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, I need to clean the kitchen, I need to clean the bathroom, and then I need to edit this, I need to clip out this. I start doing all that.
Got to save Gotham City. Where's the time?
I got to do that. I got to save, Gotham City. Yeah, it's just rough.
Hard enough life.
I know, right? It's like I know we're complaining about third world problem. Yeah, but anyways, it's just like, but it can be difficult because it's just I don't know. I like the weekly. I think I just grew up on the whole weekly releasing of episodes, so it just makes it easier, I guess. So now when you get like an entire dump of a series, it's just like, yeah, okay, but I can't just I can't just sit there and just watch the whole thing.
I mean, The Boys, the first season, I'm pretty sure they dumped out their entire first season. Yeah, okay. And like then they improved on that by like when in their next seasons, yeah, sure, they drop like one or two episodes, like the first 2 or 3 episodes at once, but then they'd do it weekly to keep the conversation going. That's like because that's what happened with The Boys season 4. You'd have so much conversation, like it just works so much better. And like, yeah, you want to say to yourself, oh, I wish they could release it all at once. Oh, I just wish I could watch it all. But like, really, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. But when it comes to the Batman 2, I mean, and I love the fact that Matt Reeves said, oh yeah, we're still we're treating it like a trilogy. I'm like, thank you. It's still gonna be a trilogy. We're still getting like, and you can't tell me that Matt Reeves is not sitting there writing both. Like after all this time, it's like he's not just going, I'm just doing the second one. I don't know what's gonna happen with the third one. It's like it's not Lucasfilm. So it's like, hey, guess what? He's like already going, all right, I already know how this is gonna lead to the third film, and I already got like the outline for the third film. You can't tell me that Matt Reeves is not already going, oh, yeah. The fact that he said that in an interview, and I was like, thank you, Matt, is the fact that it's like, oh, yeah, it's still going to be, we're still intending it to be a trilogy. And I'm like, yeah, you are already, there's no way that you are not already having, whatever happens in the second one that's going to bleed into the third one. And then, of course, and then it's funny, too, because when it comes to the Penguin series, which obviously expands the story, I'm not expecting there's going to be a Penguin part 2. It's kind of funny because there was that whole thing about Colin Farrell saying at the end of the Penguin shoot, did you guys hear this?
Yeah.
Totally just like, fucking get me out of this suit. Yeah. And I'm just gonna go.
I need that audio because I will.
Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna. Yeah. I mean, I'm not thinking that he went full on. Like
no.
I was baiting you. I was hoping you were gonna put that up there.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. He's not. I don't think he went like full on Christian Bale, but I love the fact that he said that it was like I got to a point where I was like, Jesus Christ, I want to get out of this stuff. It's like, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, when he's in the Batman, it's like, okay, you had certain scenes, but you weren't in the movie all the way. But when you're literally the main focus,
number one on the call sheet,
number one on the call sheet,
that had to be rough. So I'm like, all right, there's no way that, I think the Penguin, obviously the Penguin series is going to be a bridge between the Batman part 1 and part 2, but I don't think there's going to be there doesn't need to be another Penguin series. So I think like when it comes to Colin Farrell, the role, I think it ends with either the Penguin 2, or maybe if he survives, that's the thing, we don't know. And that's what's the question. But if he doesn't survive, then he's good. But then if he does survive into part 3, then maybe he's got a couple of scenes too. But I mean, he's probably relieved that all right, I'm not going to be in it all that much after doing the series where I'm there every fucking day.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said, like, it's okay. We don't have to have, like you're saying, we don't have to have a season 2, but
no.
Matt Reeves has been always talking about continuing building out this world, the Batman crime drama, as he can go through different aspects of it and just have
you can use a different villain to do
as bridges too, or go to Arkham, or maybe we'll eventually get Gotham Central one day. You never know. So
yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's like there's so much there, and it's like, all right, so there's not gonna be a Penguin 2, because this is just, I'm hoping that the Penguin series is gonna be like on a lot of people's radars, where they go, oh my god,
a Catwoman series.
That's probably what's going to be next.
Wasn't that the idea? Weren't they going to do that? Or
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's an idea for that, but I'm just kind of wondering if that idea is going to be out there, maybe that's going to be the bridge to Batman.
There was a rumor about a Catwoman series happening, but I didn't.
But I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be the bridge to the Batman Part 3, or I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just like, I think like what Matt Reeves is taking his time on is like, well, what if so if we're going to bridge between the Batman Part 1 to Part 2, we're going to have just the Penguin series. And then when it comes to the bridge to Part 2 to Part 3, we'll have like a Catwoman series or whatever, and I think that's a cool way to look at it, especially since the Penguin is getting great reviews. Great reviews.
Yeah, it's got so much I forgot the promoting and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, I lost my words just then.
It's okay, it happens. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It's like there's that they could utilize. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of early reviews that have just happened this week that could just be like, hey, this series is the shit. I mean, it's been mainly positive, and I'm just going, yeah, bring on this. And again, going back to Colin Farrell, good on you for taking on the role, because I mean, when Colin Farrell was first announced as the Penguin, everyone was going like, what? Colin Farrell? Is he just going to look like kind of like the Gotham Penguin and everything? It's like, you're really going to do that? And you have somebody who's like a good-looking actor, like Colin Farrell, who's been a heartthrob, one of those kind of guys. You're going to cover him and all this, and it just adds to the role. And I think Colin Farrell, even though he was like, he admitted to being like, I don't want to get in this shit anymore, because it probably got to him. But at the same time, he's probably appreciating the fact that it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. This is like one of my this is probably the ambitious role I've ever done in my career. And I think he appreciates that. When I see him in interviews, he really does appreciate the fact that it's like, what? I'm doing this? He's totally transforming himself. And I think a lot of actors are really like that whole thing. And that's why they get into it, because they want to transform and be like, how much can I be a different person? And, it's just, it's cool when we see somebody like Colin Farrell, who, when he came up in the ranks, he was like the heartthrob, and he was like, oh yeah, he's like that leading man heartthrob role. And then all of a sudden, like when he gets, and I love it when these actors, actors, actresses, whatever, when they get up there in age and they start taking on more ambitious roles, and he's done that, he's done that. McConaughey did that when he turned 40. He was like, yeah, you know what? I need to, not just be the romantic comedy heartthrob. I gotta it's just, sorry for the bad McConaughey impression, but I try my best. I just think about those Lincoln commercials that he used to do, but it's just like, but at the same time, it's like there is a point where you go, all right, I'm not quite that guy anymore, so I gotta like show my chops. And I think Colin Farrell's really done that. I mean, not even just with that, with what's that movie that he was in, the
Benishari or Ben when he got nominated
Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah. There it is. Thank you.
Did not see it, but yeah, I heard
such a fantastic
really good.
movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Human interest stuff, you know me, I can't. Yeah.
And it's interesting just because he's always been looked at as one of the bad boys in Hollywood, but everyone I've either spoken to that either has interviewed him or even people said they put him up as one of the nicest people in Hollywood.
Yes. And I love that. I love hearing that because I'm like, ever since I saw Farrell in Minority Report, that was the first time I ever saw him. And then I started following his career. I remember he was in The Recruit with with Pacino, which was like, it was such like one of those movies that just kind of just went really nowhere, but it was all about espionage and spying stuff. And you had Pacino being Pacino, like, you caught me, hand in the cookie jar. And, he said shit like that. And it was like, you're versatile, you're fucking fit. It was such a nice melding. Yeah, it was such a melding of like, wow, we got Pacino, who's like the guy who's recruiting this guy. It's called The Recruiter. Oh my God, this is really cool. Who's Colin Farrell? This guy. He's punching a punching bag. He's a good looking dude. Look at this. It's just like one of those things. And then I was like watching his career go, and then it's just like it went, and then it got to a point where it's like, all right, now it's getting to a point where it's like, I gotta take some of this. I'm not just that guy. I got to be this. And that's what I see with Dave Bautista, and that's what I love about Dave Bautista. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not just the action guy. I can be the action guy, but I can also be the serious guy. That's why I love about Dave Bautista. And of course, everybody was talking about his weight loss, but at the same time, and I even commented about it when we saw him at TIFF, and he was just like, on the red carpet, and everybody's like, what's wrong with Dave Bautista? And I saw all this shit, and I'm like, guys, the dude was like,
he's not a wrestler anymore.
He was always like this, but now he's like, you know what? I'm 55 and I'm still working out, but I don't need to be this anymore. I could just be this. And yeah, I get it. When you saw that image, it was like, whoa, yeah, that doesn't look like the Dave Bautista. But then I was like, hey, guys, he probably still looks very good without his shirt on.
Looks great, yeah.
Yeah,
he's still ripped up.
Yeah,
he's still ripped up. But most people, when they see wrestlers like that, they don't ever see them get cut down like that. Yeah. And what I found sort of like kind of goofy was that the whole steroid thing came up when yes, there's a lot of people that I've been watching wrestling for a very long time, and most of the people I grew up watching, a lot of them are dead. But he came about during an era where the feds had already gotten involved, and there were penalties involved, and there were mandated wellness programs. Even if he was doing things, he wasn't doing anything remotely close to what they were doing in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And a lot of the stuff right now in 2024 and the last 10 years, the technology in medicine has improved to where it doesn't have to be anabolic. It can be things that you can buy and you can get approved by a doctor that can put you in that, and then you just have to be weaned off of them. His working weight as a wrestler was 285, and for one role he went up to 318. So if you don't,
that was for a Cabin in the Wood or Cabin,
Knock at the Cabin,
Knock at the Cabin. His best movie, by the way. That's so far because I haven't seen Killer's Game yet. But
well, you're probably still,
anyway. Carrying that kind of weight, and you don't have to. A lot of the injuries and bones and bad joints are from guys carrying that type of weight and that kind of muscle, which is more denser, into their 60s. It's not good. If you're not using it every day, you don't need to be at that weight. So
yeah, he talked about it. I remember on the interview that saying that was the hardest he'd ever had since he began, and he did not like it, and you could kind of hear him saying like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, he said he like gained the weight too, like not in a healthy way. Like he was eating like
Big
just
Mac.
the worst food you could imagine,
Yep.
like just
Just like me.
cookies and pancakes and just
Rice.
like just the worst kinds of food
You
ever.
and your rice, Axel.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
You
They
love your-
closed my China diner. It was so sad. They closed it.
Terrible.
Yes.
No,
All
but
right, you guys, I do have to go.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
okay. All
I
right.
have to be up in a few hours to watch
whenever you have to go, Meg,
Transformers.
it's but glad to talk to you again, and glad you had a great TIFF journey.
Thank you.
Sounds like it was a lot of fun, and looking forward to seeing
Want a
your
magnet?
reviews and all this stuff like that.
Throw it in. Throw it
Yeah,
in.
throw it into
You know
Put it
what?
in the gift bag.
You know what? You can get rid of one of the Crow posters and put
yeah.
one of those in.
Can you send it to me, William? Just for no
The
reason.
Crow poster?
Probably that would cost like
Yeah,
$500
$50
to
just to get it
send
to
it to
Australia,
you.
man.
Yeah.
For a movie that didn't even make
$500?
50 bucks. So yeah.
Shit like that should not cost $500. Like, what is?
You'll come out to Vegas, and when you come out to Vegas, I'll hook you up.
There you go.
They
All
really
right, well,
named
thank
it
you.
fake ass, right?
But thank you, Meg.
Good seeing you, Meg.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun catching up with you,
Yeah, of
and welcome back anytime, of course.
Yeah, just let me
Promote.
know. I'm usually open on Fridays, so
Okay, cool.
Unless it's me, then you
Gonna bring it back.
yeah, don't invite that guy again.
Yeah, I know. I won't invite.
If I'm sending the
William
link, you can
next
forget
time.
about it. No, I'm just kidding.
But
Okay, bye guys.
Promote whatever you guys have
Later.
to. You have anything to promote?
Yeah, you can follow me on Vero, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. YouTube at WonderMeg. You can find all of my reviews at wonderwatchlist.com. That's where I'm going to be posting all of my TIFF reviews. I'm going to be posting videos of like my favorite movies from TIFF. I don't want to say a date because it'll probably be days off from that. So yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to follow me there, just go ahead, and thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Great talking to you, Meg. All right.
Bye,
have a good-
guys.
Bye.
some sleep. Get some sleep. All right. Great talking to Wonder Meg right there. Been far too long. But what were we talking about before that?
Penguin.
I have no
Penguin.
Yeah.
Who's seen the Penguin? I know there's so many people who've seen the Penguin too, and I'm like, I even talked to somebody today. I was like, he was like, "Oh, you can't wait." Yeah, the Penguin. Oh my god. I was like, "Fuck, I need to get on these lists." I was like, "Damn it, I'm so lazy. I don't get on these lists where I can watch." There are people who've seen the entire run of Penguin right now. That and I know, that's one of the things that I think that you were alluding to, right, Phil, when you said like, "I'm not gonna say anything."
I know someone.
Yeah, exactly. You talked to somebody probably that. Yeah.
You know,
Phil knows the guy.
I'm actually still waiting to see if I'll get in for an animated show coming out next week as well.
I got that.
Are you talking about Twilight of the Gods?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I was like, what's the animated show that's coming out next?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, we'll see if I get an early screener for that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a big fan of the Batman, but hey, if people are saying good stuff about the Penguin, sure, I'll give it a watch. And I think I'll give the Batman a rewatch. And and we got that new Hellboy movie coming out soon, which I'm looking forward to.
That cheap fan film? Yeah, that looks awesome.
That is going to bomb.
I think it looks good. If Mike Mignola's involved, then I think it looks good. Yeah, there's a lot going up against it, and
Hellboy is going up against.
It's unfair to say, just because it's not the previous movie.
Well, see, the problem with Hellboy is they handled it like shit.
Oh yeah, the previous one, that movie was.
Well, that's not.
I tried watching that one. Fuck that movie. It's like The Crow is the new fucking Hellboy 2019. That movie's god awful.
Yeah, but see, The Crow went 30 years without having the kind of. Like I said, that's going to bomb. That's unfortunate too, because it's not really going to matter if it's a good movie. I think people pulled the plug on the interest of.
They got the guy who played Black Tom Cassidy in Deadpool 2 to be the new Hellboy.
That's fucking crazy. Really?
David Harbour is
guy?
a pretty well liked.
No shit.
actor.
I didn't even know it was that guy.
Yeah, it's Jack Kessie. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so when it comes to the new Hellboy, I look at it, I'm like, all right, they're not going to go crazy like VFX bonanza and they're going to do like a horror aspect. Maybe it could work, but for the most part, I'm going, all right, I'm still going to check it out. I'm going to watch it. I'm like, okay.
It'll make more than The Crow. It'll make more than
it can't be worse. It can't be worse than The Crow.
I don't really know if this is like a hot take or anything, but like independent stuff has always been a little bit more difficult for me. Because when I was younger and my older cousin who I used to read comics with, we used to talk comics all the time. Anyway, he shoved Hellboy in my face. I said, "What is this?" And he goes, "This is one of the best books you're ever going to read." I read it and I was like, "This is garbage." I was like, "This is fucking boring. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. The art's kind of cool." But I was like, other than that, this is just fucking ridiculous in all the stupidest ways. Why the fuck can't he eat pancakes? Anyone who can't eat pancakes, that's just unfortunate circumstances all around. I don't give a shit about this character. So when they made the movies, I was like, oh, okay, Guillermo del Toro, Ron Perlman, these are cool. But everything after that has just been just, a wet fart after wet fart.
And really quick, too, it's like immediately, while people still have the first two Hellboys in their head, they're trying to restart it and reboot it. And I'm like, you don't have enough time. First of all, I'm not going to go in. You already know what I think about reboots. It is the sign of a fuck up.
Yeah, just don't repeat yourself. Just go on.
Yeah, but right there, it's kind of it's too soon. And I don't think there was any taste or any desire for them to restart that after the first two movies.
They should have done an animated movie. That's what they should have done.
That's what, that's a good idea. You know what? I have a funny story too when it comes to Hellboy. One of my really good friends when I was growing up, this is like, in the late 90s, early 2000s, his older brother was trying to be an aspiring screenwriter. And I remember because, he was actually, I think he sold something. I think he sold some screenplay and he actually was getting he got his foot in the door. And then he was writing some kind of concept that had to do with, the Germans experimenting on bringing up, demons from the underworld to create a soldier. And, basically the Hellboy backstory kind of thing. And when the movie came out, the first movie, he didn't realize that that character existed, and when that first came about, he was like, he got so pissed off because he was like, "What the fuck? I just had this idea of a similar concept of a character," and he threw out his script because it was essentially the Hellboy backstory, and it's just kind of funny to me that even though he had no idea about the character. I didn't have any idea of the character at the time, neither did my friend, but it's just kind of funny. It's like, wow, yeah. I mean, how many times does that happen where somebody comes up with an idea and it comes about and somebody's like, oh, I got this great idea. I'm writing this. And then they see the trailer and go, what the fuck? That's my idea. And then their dreams get shattered.
Well, at least you didn't go like full Chris Wozniak on it.
True. That was bullshit. Oh,
that was fucking funny, but
what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Well, gee, maybe if you were here, you'd be paying attention. You would know.
Well, sorry, I had fucking Uber Eats. It was just a Pepsi. Don't worry.
Congratulations. Headphones are a thing. You can take them with you.
Do you have Uber Eats deliver a Pepsi to you?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's never mind. Did you already hit Spider-Man while I was?
Oh no, not yet. Okay,
but we could go from Hellboy to a Spider-Man.
I just want to make sure I had missed it because that's far more exciting to be honest.
Let's wrap up Hellboy right now.
I just want to say my stuff. I'm going to support that movie. I think it's going to be a sleeper.
They're going to need you.
Do you not learn from your mistakes? Do you know what happened the last time you supported a movie?
Yeah, I know.
You're going to the Crow with this one.
But Axel, I'll give this to you. Hellboy the Crooked Man looks much better than the Crow reboot. That's for damn.
Yeah, and and so what if it's not a big blockbuster movie like the others?
No,
were?
it's not going to be that.
No, it's not. And sorry, I'm out of breath.
Oh, are you? Walking to that door really took a lot out of you, didn't it?
Well, I have a driveway.
Drink a Pepsi.
All for a Pepsi. Oh, man.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I think. Hey,
Insert Zelda
does the
noise.
makeup look great on that guy? What's that?
I said insert Zelda noise.
Oh, okay. But yeah, does the
Only,
makeup look
only
not
us would do that.
Not exactly. I wish they'd give him, the yellow eye contacts, but we can move on to Spider-Man now.
Okay.
So you're not happy with what the aesthetic looks like. That's what you're saying.
Oh no.
Like,
I
you
think it
wish
looks
that there was-
fine. I just wish they just gave him like the yellow eye contacts.
The yellow eyes. Okay.
That's my little nitpick.
But again, like I said, we'll see. It could be, it could end up being better than the 2019 version, which is not a hard feat because, they're definitely taking a lower budget horror aspect to it. And I'm like, okay, I can appreciate that. And I will go and watch it and see if that works. Because when it came to the 2019 version, I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. David Harbour. Maybe they're going to be like doing something cool here. And it was a mess, and it was an absolute shit show. Yeah. But the last scene of that movie, I was like, "Oh wow, you guys figured out Hellboy with the last scene because there's that
most expensive thing to get to a point."
Yeah, the last scene was like him and like pretty much he like. When the whole initial story happened, I forgot like the girl that was all part of it. And anyways, they just show up to basically dispose of another invasion of like another, demon creature. And it's a whole action sequence. And there's like a crazy one shot and it's like really cool. And I'm like, I remember just going, when the credits roll, I'm like, they waited till the last scene to do something as cool as that. That was like I walked out just laughing. And I think I even said in my review.
Rewatching that movie like a few.
It's the whole movie sucks, but
it's like it's not good.
Cool.
It's hard to watch, and I feel bad for David Harbour because he got so ripped for that role.
And he didn't get so ripped. It was still a body. He got pretty in shape, but
he's doing okay. He's doing fine.
Yeah, he was gonna be fine without that one or the other. Bill Skarsgård probably called him for advice. Well, maybe just a vent, if anything.
Okay, was I the only one? Okay, has anyone seen The Crow? Okay,
yeah.
If anyone hasn't, but like,
I have not seen
so like, there's
no, I have not. I won't.
Yeah, Chris and I.
There's this one part where I thought like, where they take his shirt off. I was like, what the fuck is this? Why are they? This is so fucking forced. And then, did he get bigger? I swear, he got bigger like when he got out of the bathtub.
Yes. Well, we talked about that too on here. What happened was basically like throughout the movie, yeah, he was ripped, but I think when it came to that scene, all it took was
bigger.
No. He just all he did was pump up. He pumped up because if you lift weight, he probably just like had some dumbbells on set, and he probably did some like, some chest presses, some back stuff, and some bicep curls and whatever the fuck. He just pumped up, and that's what it's like. He was always in shape, but yeah, I know what you're saying, Axel. Is like when he came out of that bathtub, he looked like he was like way more jacked than normal, and I was like, oh, he just pumped up. That's the thing. He just pumped up, just like what Hugh Jackman does, like in between scenes. Or like when you see Henry Cavill when he gets out of the water in Man of Steel, that's not what he normally. He was like literally he probably did 200 push-ups and lifted something, did some shoulder presses. That's what these actors do to look even more jacked. I mean, when you see Chris Evans when he first turns in the Captain America. Yep. He completely did a fucking. There was some dumbbells on set where he was completely pumped up, And when you're pumped up after a workout, you're just the blood is all in your fucking muscles. So I think that's what happened when it came to him. He just was completely pumped up. You know, because he was in serious shape, and he apparently ate like raw steak and eggs. He said it was weird. Anyways,
weird stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, we could talk. Yeah, let's move on to Spider-Man. How we feeling about Destin? What's his name? Destin
Daniel Cretton.
Yeah. Are we feeling good that he's most likely the director?
I've only seen one of his movies, and it was a beautiful movie, beautifully done.
Shang-Chi.
That's it. I mean, so
yeah,
based on that, I'm there. I don't like the premise of that I'm hearing. I'm really hoping it's
which of the 20 premises, William?
Yes,
because goodness gracious,
right? No one.
So many premises out there. I'm like,
I hope this one is just one of those rumors that just gets out there and gains fire. Listen, I put Noel at the worthless level of Beyonder for me.
Yeah, people are saying like he's Thanos level. I said he's gone now. He's gone.
This is a problem. This has been a problem since I've been a fucking kid as a collector. Whenever I would the writers would get to a point where they just didn't want to figure shit out. Let's pull some godlike character from between our cheeks and throw it out there and just make this guy the one that's going to end the world and the universe if our hero doesn't. And I'm like, come on, dude. The King in Black, I mean, and then when he ate the Celestial, I mean, it got to the point. It's like, I can't, like I said, I had to sit and think and see if I could find a more worthless cosmic level villain than that. And here he is. Here he is.
Well, so Sony's going to make it even worse, William. I hate to tell you.
But that doesn't even need. Listen, when it comes to Spider-Man, if you want to have Venom, that be a Venom in it, that's fine. That's fine. But does that need to be a Spider-Man villain? He has a rogues gallery that's so rich. I don't need Noel in a Spider-Man movie.
And I agree with you. But we said this last night on Marvel Alliance that this hasn't been earned. This is absolutely has not been earned. I get why they're doing it to conclude this trilogy.
Yeah,
it hasn't been earned.
I don't need Noel in the comic books.
Okay,
sure,
but to that end, I don't disagree that it wasn't earned, but I would just say that it's just a natural progression, and also just look at the way
I agree.
Look at the way Sony has handled this, right? Like first villain, first film. Venom knockoff, doing the Iron Man formula. You get fucking big old Iron Man, Ironmonger versus Iron Man. Okay, what was Venom 1? Venom versus Riot. You have fucking Carlton Drake there taking on some silver symbiote, and it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of a Carnage knockoff. Yeah, we know you want Carnage. Guess what? You're gonna wait. Then we get Carnage in the second movie. What happened with that? Oh well, yeah, it's Carnage, but it's PG-13 Carnage.
That was the worst part.
And now
you're not wrong,
like,
Phil. You're not wrong.
So then when the third movie comes around, everyone's like, well, who's the villain going to be? And then Sony went Chiwetel for it, and then everyone's like, all right, sure. And then this trailer hits. Oh, it's Noel. That's why they did it, because they wanted to inspire confidence. I'm using those words very loosely, but if he's been the villain the entire time, it's like, oh, okay. Well, at that point, since you already dropped the ball with Carnage, what direction do you really go with Venom at this point? Sure, you could make the debate. Yeah, let's have him fight. Oh, I don't know, maybe like a Morbius, maybe like a Scorpion, maybe someone else.
Or Sony executives.
Sure, sure. You know, someone.
Let him fight. Let him fight Amy Pascal.
Are we talking about Spider-Man
or hell, if you really wanted to be specific, Avi Arad. Why not? Avi Arad, Matt Tolmack. There we go. But no, like the natural progression of things. Someone in the room had some semblance of intelligence to go, what about Noel? And someone went, yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Wait a minute.
I think. Let's get this guy a raise.
But here's the ironic thing: if this is done in a, I don't know, traditional, probably not the right word, but if this is done in a decent manner, this very well could be the best of the bunch. That bar still isn't very high.
Yeah, I just don't need to see Noel crossing. I really don't want to see him in a.
I don't either. I don't either.
I know. I saw your tweet, William, where you're like, "I'm gonna mute this."
I was terrified when Taika Waititi did the whole Black Necrosword thing in Thor: Love and Thunder. I was like, please, just don't.
So it's not.
You're already fucking this movie 10 Ways to Sunday with the inclusion of your nonsense, but it's just like, don't do Noel. You're already doing a lot here. Just don't do Noel, because you're gonna piss off a lot of people, and he's still pissed off a lot of people. But Sony's like, wait, hold my beer. We're gonna piss off.
Hold the
people.
keg. Hold the keg. Here we come with this.
Hold the keg. Hold the wine bottle. Hold the wine cooler. Hold the bar. You name it.
Whatever.
But where does Sony go after Venom?
Okay,
like if this is it, where do they go after this? Because right now they don't have their hits yet.
Hopefully they just go, okay, we did it, we're done. Spider-Man is with Marvel, but we still help make the movie. That's my hope. We all know that's not going to fucking happen, though.
No, because they want to keep that license.
Yes, they're actually going to do El Muerto. I don't think
that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, Jackpot. Don't forget the Jackpot movie.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kraven. That's the thing. It's like, obviously with Venom coming out, and then of course the trailer came out, and it's a good trailer. I'll admit it. I mean, like it seems like it's going to be a good little, end of the story, I guess, when it comes to Eddie and Venom and Tom Hardy and everything. I think like Tom Hardy's like, all right, this is it, we're done. And the trailer looks fine. It looks like
it's a Venom movie.
Yeah, the thing about the Venom movies, they're fun. They're not anything that's going to be like taken any serious. They're not going to be taken seriously. And I could appreciate the Venom movies when it comes to this weird Sony Spider-Man villain movies. They're the best ones, for sure. I'm curious to see what happens with Kraven. Yeah. And from what I'm just glad that they're leaning into the R-rated, aspect.
Bit a guy's nose off, man. You bit a guy's nose off.
I know. I mean, the only other time we saw that was in Batman Returns. Anyways,
but and to your point, they proved they can do a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
True. Yeah. Very true. But when it comes to Spider-Man, though, it's like, damn, we want them to see him. Fight
these characters.
Yes.
Yeah. I
feel
like
that they're so kept apart. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we gonna get a different Venom now for Tom Holland? I mean, like, what are we doing?
That's what I thought was gonna happen when they left that piece behind.
Yeah, the little studio piece in the.
I thought it would have gone to Matt Gargan, maybe like.
Or no, just that Eddie Brock that's in that universe or whatever.
Yeah,
I guess. Here's the thing about the black costume. As a collector, it's kind of vomit worthy that they've been obsessed to get to. Listen, between these issues, it's 3.5 years.
Yep.
Spider-Man's been around 1,000 years, but there's an obsession to speed train this in, and he didn't even wear the symbiote costume for that 3.5 year period. He got rid of that, and he was wearing this normal black costume.
Yeah.
So it's like the storyline, just like with Null. It's like when they make comic book movies, sometimes they pick the high spots, and I'm all right with the adaptations, but it's like there wasn't much to that story once he gave up the symbiote. It was all Venom after that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like I was okay with Spider-Man 4 being about him fighting. I don't even want to see Daredevil in there. You know who I want to be the main character in the Spider-Man movie? Spider-Man. I don't want anybody else to outshine him. I want him to be the focal point. Give him the Hobgoblin. Give him his version of the Green
Stop
Goblin.
It, William. You're starting to make sense. Stop
it.
Well,
I understand his perspective, but at the same time, we have 5 Spider-Man movies with Spider-Man by himself. The whole novelty of Spider-Man being integrated in the MCU was so he could interact with other Marvel characters. And it's not out of the realm of possibility to have Marvel team-ups with Spider-Man who frequently happen with Shang-Chi, with Daredevil, with a lot of these other characters.
If they hadn't spent the last 7 years having him sit on Tony Stark's lap, I would be okay with that. But you've already spent so much of Tom Holland's tenure. Mr. Stark,
I had no problems with him being like the apprentice, for Tony Stark. But yeah, it got to the point where it was like, all right. After 2 movies, I was like, let's move on. And with the death of Tony Stark and all this stuff, I was like, all right, cool, we can move on now. And I just worry that there's always gonna be like, then it was like, well, then we got Doctor Strange and No Way Home. Is he gonna be there was that whole thing. Yeah, it's just like, that's what they showed at the end of No Way Home.
That's why I'm waiting for Spider-Man 4.
Yeah,
because in Far From Home, he gets upstaged by Tony Stark's glasses after Tony Stark's death.
Yeah, it was
That's
ridiculous.
how-
It was stupid. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
it got to the point where it was like, all right, I didn't mind the fact that he was that. And I was like, all right, that's new and that's fresh. But then after a while, it was like, all right, we're, Mr. Stark. It got annoying after a while. I was like, dude, all right, now you got to be independent. And now they finally got to that point, and now we're kind of up. It's all up in the air. They talk about, it's going to be a multiverse story, which I'm like, yeah, of course it is, because there is still going to be
debatable.
a multiverse aspect, because we still have Doomsday, we still have
Very
Secret Wars.
debatable.
That's fine. And then of course there's like, it's still going to be street level. But then of course they talk about like, oh yeah, if it's going to be street level, there's going to be Daredevil, which I wouldn't mind. I don't know. It's everything's so up in the air with Spider-Man right now. But at the same time, when it comes to Mr. Destin Daniels right here, Daniels Cretton, whatever, I'm fucking up his name. Sorry, as I do. But at the same time, I'm just kind of going like, I do find it funny though, because he was set to direct Kang Dynasty, but that went to shit. And then it's like Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi 2 is not going to be a high priority. So it's like, all right. And they were just like, dude, if you give you Spider-Man, will you stay? It almost feels like that. And that worries me, where it's like he got handed this because they want him to stay.
Well,
after the 2 movies that he was potentially going to be directing are not going forward.
To be fair, he did sign an overall deal with Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
He did sign that deal
after
Shang-Chi. It was after Shang-Chi, and it was right around the time they like unofficially announced Wonder Man, because it was announced that he was developing that with damn it, I forget who the showrunner is of that. But yeah, like that between Shang-Chi and Wonder Man, that's essentially what, and even after the breakdown of Kang Dynasty and the whole shit going on, the legal nonsense with Jonathan Majors, Marvel was like, hey, sorry, you want to do Spider-Man? You'd have to be a goddamn fool to say no to Spider-Man at that point. And honestly, when it comes to your most seasoned hero,
Andrew Guest is a showrunner.
Thank you, Andrew Guest. Yes, when it comes to having your most seasoned hero, you would probably want a seasoned Marvel director handling that movie, especially with it being the 4th one. And honestly, if they're developing this movie and it does shoot early next year alongside Avengers Doomsday, it's going to boil down to when that Spider-Man movie releases. Because if it comes out after Avengers Doomsday, because if they're filming the movie in 2025, that means at the earliest it's going to hit is summer 26.
Yeah.
At the very earliest, which means I know, but they've done quicker. Avengers Doomsday hits May of 26. You very well could see Spider-Man in July of 26. And if it is a street level story, they could pull an Ant-Man Wasp Infinity War situation where you have the movie that came out after the fact, and it's still, at the very end, you line it up with the events of Doomsday.
Okay.
I would be okay with that.
I'd be okay with that too.
It's plausible, but also if it comes off direct, if they are filming these movies simultaneously at the same time, then it very well could turn into a situation of, oh, well, your movie happens, then the events of this movie happens. Therefore, Spider-Man could take place on a battle world. We don't fucking know. That's just the meat and potatoes of it. It's we don't know the story of Spider-Man 4 to even understand.
They're still negotiating that shit, aren't they? Or do they have it nailed down?
Chris McKenna and Eric Summers are back in the writer's room. Tom Holland is confirmed to come back. It's all seeming like a pretty much done deal. Because
but because I know Sony and Feige were.
There's nothing official has come up. It's Scooper Madness trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
They have to,
as far as concerned,
apparently Beyond the Spider-Verse is scrapped. So
I was about to say that. Okay. Thank you, Axel. That whole fucking
I'm sorry. That was so fucking dumb.
I listened.
Sorry because where the scoop came from. Fuck that guy.
I listened to your Wednesday show this morning or during my work shift today, and I just laughed at your breakdown of it because you're right. Fuck that disheveled rat. And I love that Chris Miller. I love that Chris Miller and Daniel Pemberton were like, no, this is
the composer's the first one to shut him down. I was like, that's just poetic.
Yep. That's totally poetic when the composer, not even the filmmakers, the composer was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm literally putting music to it right now. It's like, and then I even thought, I was like, all right, they're really gonna scrap most of Beyond the Spider-Verse when it's literally animation that takes years. It takes years. It's not like they could do reshoots.
And it's what Sony's actually doing right with Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna scrap that. I'm like, you got some bad intel there, fucking balding.
Yep, buzzard.
This goes back to the other rumor though, because remember, and somebody was tagging me, asking me if we would talk about it on our show about Lord Miller storming out and doing all this stuff, and I'm like, you gave me one source, and I sat back and waited for more credible sources, and something like that would have been big enough, and I never heard of anything. All I heard was that got debunked too. But the problem is people run with this shit, and it's like that does damage.
Yep,
that does damage. You know,
and and you know what? Sometimes some of these people will have the balls and be like, "Yep, I was wrong."
Not this guy.
Not this arrogant fuck.
No, he'll double down on it.
He'll double down on it.
Like, of course. Apparently had a bitch fit on Twitter. I'm glad I didn't see that, but boy, I laughed.
He did.
I'm gonna see if he's blocked me. Hold on.
Oh, he blocked me.
Oh, he for sure blocked me over Spider.
He blocked me a long time ago. When I pushed back against some of something from years ago. This was years ago. It's so funny too because he has the same profile, and I'm like, oh, this is the profile picture of what you looked like before you look like now, because you don't
20 years ago.
You've aged very badly. I'm just saying, I don't mean to make fun of some of these looks. I'm just saying that it's just kind of funny when you see what the profile picture looks like. You still have that one up. It's like update it or do something, where it's like an animated version. But it's just so funny. But it's like, oh yeah, you keep. Anyways,
it's almost like he wants to convince people he's like the Vulture in some respect.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's just,
I don't know.
It's almost catfishing at this point. But
I just wish fandoms would be smarter and do just a little. Even if you don't do the research, at least sit back and wait before you take that football into the end zone.
They can't wait in that one. He's got to be first. He's got to be. Even when he's wrong, it still trends.
But I'm talking about the audience, the viewers. I mean, do you have to comment on that?
Can.
I mean, before.
Of course they can.
Oh my goodness!
Do you have any idea how many people I saw on my Threads feed just going, "Oh no, Beyond the Spider-Verse is scrapped," and I'm just like, "Are you fucking serious with this shit?"
It's like anytime, like even on Twitter, like when you have like these certain there are these certain Twitter handles that post about that. When I see they go via, and I see that fucking name, I go, nope. Even with other names, I'm like, nah. I'm like, come on. I mean, literally, like today, I retweeted, like, what was the tweet? It was, let me find it right here. It was just like, oh, God damn it, I can't even find it. But it was just like, what we were even talking about tonight was the fact when it came to the Batman, it was like it was this. There we go. It's My Time to Shine. And one of these Twitter handles was like, Mr. Freeze might be the villain in the Batman Part 2 via My Time to Shine. And so I quote tweeted, I said, via obvious. I didn't say fucking, but I saying it right now. Obvious fucking guess.
It's such a no shit, like a guess. Like,
yeah. Oh, you're talking about
people say, "Oh, who should be the next villain in a Superman movie? It should be Brainiac." Yeah. I think it's gonna be Brainiac. Yeah, no shit.
I saw one on Threads today.
It's gonna be Kite Man. Actually, that's Superman.
Yeah, I know, right?
I saw one on Threads today. It said Kate Bishop and Yelena Belova will team up in Secret Wars, and I'm just like, oh, gee, that's a pretty obvious kind of guess, don't you think?
Obvious.
I think Doctor Strange. I've heard my friend's cousin's former roommate say Doctor Strange is going to be in Doomsday.
I heard there's going to be a third Doctor Strange.
You know, we should try a social experiment. Create an account like his at that point, and just put see exactly if we can get something trending. Just for fun. Social experiment.
Well, I hear that Spider-Man.
Oh, I know what I would do for my first one. I know exactly what I would do.
Spider-Man's
Timothy Olyphant has landed the role of Green Lantern. That's exactly what I would do. That is exactly what I would do.
Do that. But I know, Willem, you got to go right now, right?
Yeah, we're doing a Friday the 13th watch along.
I forget it's Friday the 13th right now. Holy shit.
Which one?
Well, not anymore down to my coast.
Just
the first one.
Okay, I don't care.
Yeah.
The first one.
I like
the third one is the best one, but
that's debatable.
start
That's
the
very
review.
debatable. That is debatable.
We got to start the. There's some people that are watching tonight that have never seen this movie, so here we go.
Oh, the first
All
one's
right.
fine. It's just
Thank
their other
William.
movies that outclass the fuck out of it in the franchise.
Hey, before
Yeah,
William
yeah.
leaves, William, when are we gonna do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1991? I want to do that one.
I'm going to string you along until you're 40. No, I'm kidding. We've done. Now never.
Oh, I was joking. That was.
Nah, well, hey, you know what? Given what we've shown, that's justified. We'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah,
we got probably after the Twilight of the Gods charity stuff.
Did you finish Terminator Zero yet, William?
Yes.
I did this weekend. Absolutely great.
Good.
I need more of it. I don't know if I'm going to get more of it, but I love what I got.
Okay.
That is a grim outtake on something that is already a grim situation to begin with, but it's artfully done. I'm not an anime guy per se, but this is twice now that they've taken a franchise and done an anime style, and I've loved it. The other one was Blade Runner, Black Lotus. If you have not watched Blade Runner, Black Lotus, please make your life better by watching that. But Terminator Zero is it definitely is what I needed, and I almost binge watched it, but I spread it out. But I gave that that's top tier. I hope we get more of it.
Yeah,
It's
All
fine.
right, guys.
Fucking sauce.
I'll
Take care.
see
William.
Jason's mom hack up some. Spoiler.
Oh yeah, have fun.
Bye.
I keep
Yeah,
forgetting.
I'm with William on that one. That I'm not an anime person, but the story and it was anime enough where it wasn't to me just doubling down. Like it was, I felt it was very appropriate for what they were doing. So I'll definitely give it more of a shot now that I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, I've
It's
only
so
watched
good.
2 episodes of Terminator Zero. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Those last 2 episodes, Dave. Oh my
Are they
god,
crazy?
it'll take you for a loop. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man, can't wait! I can't wait because I'm like, yeah,
God damn it, Chris.
yeah. Don't say anything.
Oh no.
I
I
didn't
just
say
Not
anything.
yet. Not yet.
No,
We're
don't say
talking. We're
anything.
talking.
You'll understand full well what he means when you
Oh
watch the
yeah, I'm
last 2
sure I will.
episodes.
I'm sure I will. I can't wait. No, but
Cheeky
what were we
SOB.
talking about before this?
Spider-Man.
We were talking about
Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
That's
That whole thing. That whole thing. When I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, what? I mean, again, it's like, okay, I get Sony sucks, and they do some stupid shit.
They're
But,
stupid.
you know,
They're not that stupid.
Yeah, but when it comes to live action, it's like, yeah, it's easy to just be like, hey, reshoot this. And for fuck's sake, even Venom 3, we found out this week that they did reshoots in Vegas because Tom Hardy posted about it. And I'm assuming it's minor things and it's whatever. And we know after watching all the trailers and specifically even
There's a lot of Vegas.
There is the Vegas,
There's
there's
Vegas,
Vegas stuff. There is
No,
Vegas stuff,
better
but
not
at the
be
same
a
time,
post-credit scene. I swear to God.
it might be something like that too. Could be something like that. But to scrap most of an animated story that takes so long to do, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
you're saying shit out of your ass. That's what he's doing.
that is so much money and so much time and effort. If they were just like, if Amy Pascal and Avi, what's his name,
Arad.
just like,
Arad.
yeah, just like said, no, this is not what we signed up for. Are you kidding me? Especially after how well the first two, but then I'm like going, am I doing like a whole Justice League in 2017 thing where I was like, I can't, there's no way that they would do this. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this time it's like, it's animation that takes so long to produce. So I'm like, why would they actually do this? And then of course you have the composer of the score and you have Chris Miller coming out going, what the fuck is this? And it's like, yeah,
I love it when filmmakers.
I love it when they do it, Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course, even like somebody who associates with this scooper, who has a YouTube channel. I see somebody in the chat said that John Roca, who's actually been on the Vodka stream, actually told him he needs to stop going on Twitter and ranting when he gets stuff wrong. What? So you're talking about the YouTuber that this scooper, Mr. Jeff Snyder, I'm just gonna say his name. We've been avoiding it because we don't want to, but it's Jeff Snyder who associates himself with John Roca, who's been on this Vodka stream, I see somebody in the chat because I've not kept up with that because I know that they have done streams and whatever together. Even John Roca has said that he needs to stop going on Twitter and ranting. Yeah, because Jeff Snyder has such a big fucking ego that when even the director and the composer of the movie that he scooped on pushes back against him, he can't even accept that. I mean, that's why I cannot
be given a pacifier. Like,
this
holy
guy.
shit.
I can't fucking stand this guy.
he's already been
Anytime that
pink
I've
slipped
seen him
every
on
other trade.
streams or videos, he comes off so arrogant. So
He needs
arrogant.
a pacifier, like, to shut him the fuck up. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, so
Dude,
bad.
he needs more than just a pacifier. That man needs to be handed like a just big, massive public L, and he still would just be like, "No, I'm right." Dude's a fucking rat. Fuck him. It's a fucking
I
punk.
just cannot stand him out of all. Like
Neither
when it
can
comes to the Scooper game, he is like I don't know, because he's just so the worst. But at the same time, I'm like, what do you? Is this all you got, dude? I mean, is this all you got?
These scoopers have gotten nothing. Like, holy shit. The scoopers have gotten so bad since, like, I think since, like, No Way Home. Like, that's when the scooper shit really started. But, well, for me, that's when it really started to get out of control.
Homeboy literally tries to justify his scooping as, "I need to put food on my table for my children." I'm just like, bro, go get a fucking job.
He said that?
From what I recall, yeah. He's like, "Oh, I do what I do
He's
so I
got
can feed my
kids?
family." I know, it's a shock. It shocks me too that someone would actually take the time to feel pity and sleep with that motherfucker.
No, I'm just saying. I feel bad.
It's taking a weird turn. This
is what you have to do to put like dinner on the table. That's not good. That's not a good. Oh man. Oh, just be like a fucking try to be a good journalist or something like that. What are we doing here? I mean,
well, to be a good journalist,
He's
you actually
like
have to
the
be a
Wario
good
of
person.
Clark
So.
I mean, my God. I mean, it's like you're gonna
Waluigi. He looks a lot more like Waluigi.
So that adds to the whole thing of like, you know, to the point where you're gonna have to make up things or at least get bad info to try to put fucking food on the. Oh, I hope that. That's just. Anyways, let's not talk about that.
Let's talk about something better.
Yes, let's talk about something better. Like, well, I mean, we did briefly talk about the Venom 3 trailer. I mean, it's a good trailer. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good trailer.
It's a good Venom trailer.
Nothing really changed for me, but like I thought it was good, fun.
I think it's a really good trailer. Like when I watched it, I was like, okay, I don't know if Eddie's gonna die, but I do like the whole thing of like, you know, Venom saying I'm with you to the end, and there's a lot of shit that's happening. I mean, obviously there's an invasion, and we're gonna get like the creation of the you know of the symbiotes, and and there's a lot of things that could be happening here. I just worried because it is Sony, you know, that is handling this.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm going, you know what? You know, for the most part, Venom 1 was the favorite. That's the best one. Venom 2, I was a little disappointed on, but it was still had its moments. But I'm hoping that this one's going to be pretty damn good. I think there's, you know, a little bit more of a budget. The VFX look really good. I don't know. I think
again, you go in with the expectations like you're going to see a Venom movie. If you've seen the other two,
yeah,
it's not going to do anything outside of that formula. You know, he's not the Eddie Brock I was expecting. He's not the real anti-hero, you know, that we were going with. He just seems to be the accidental goofball that is just trying to find a way to live with this creature.
Yeah, it's very like late 90s Venom as opposed to like
Lethal Protector.
Modern, it's very Lethal Protector. Yeah, that's exactly what they're pulling.
That should have been the name of the movie. The Last Dance
should have been.
It's just too cheesy. I don't know.
Well, Last Dance, I think they were just going with the Michael Jordan, you know, doc, because that was called The Last Dance too. So they were like,
my prediction: he's not dying.
They're gonna
die. It's a fake out, and he's not dying. It's way too on the nose for them to do.
Okay, so Chris, do you think that there's a chance that if he does not die, that we see him somewhere in like Secret Wars or something? Okay.
I would definitely say that is already in play.
Okay, so you think this is not the end of Tom Hardy?
He's going to get to fight an alien, and maybe we'll get Andrew Garfield to get his fight with an alien at that point.
Yeah. See, and that's another thing we got this week too. Was like Andrew Garfield, of course, being an ass. Are you in Spider-Man 4? And then of course he turned it down. But it's like one of those things too, where it's like, all right, you already did this once, dude. You know, we know you might be showing up again. Maybe it's not Spider-Man 4, but it could be like a Secret Wars thing. You know, it's like.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel bad for Andrew Garfield. I mean, I actually posted my clip from one of my shows today. It was like, I feel bad because it's like, oh, here we go again with Andrew Garfield. It's like
shit.
He can't. It's like he can't say anything, even though he said in a cup. You know, I remember I used two different little red carpet things where it's like. First, he was just like, it's the truth that I'm done with Spider-Man. And that was from like a couple of years ago from Variety that I found. And
No Way Home or
I think it was for something else that he was on. But, you know, Variety, the dude, I forgot his name. I always forget his name, but he's always on the red carpet. And he asked him, he's like, well, for sure, I'm done with Spider-Man. And then, of course, for the new movie that he's with Florence Pew. That you know, he talked about is like, you know, hey, there's a rumor that you're going to be in Spider-Man 4, and he said, well, you didn't do it because now, but then it's like, who knows now? Because obviously, and I feel the reason why I feel bad is because I know Andrew Garfield is very much he loves the work that he does, and when Spider-Man is like the number one thing that people ask you about. It probably does get annoying, but I mean, there's probably like it's one of those things where you just kind of go like, yeah, it's like one of those things that I love doing, and I love that people love that I did. It can be annoying, but at the same time, it's like it's a good thing. I don't know. I think when it comes to Andrew Garfield, it's like, yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, maybe he likes the fact that it's like he's still associated with Spider-Man. Even though he's not the current Spider-Man, it's kind of, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
No Way Home gave him the closing he didn't get to have.
True.
You know, with good writing and stuff like that. The rumor was that they did try to get him consider for an Amazing Spider-Man 3. The script was the idea, just no, he wasn't going to go back for the idea, and he said, no, we're good. You know, come back to me later when you got something better. And he just hasn't thought about it. And unfortunately, when you do characters like that are just like that, you can get tired of it, or you do what he does and just kind of leans into it and just said, yep, I'm just not doing it. I did what I needed to do. Just accept the fact that you're going to be asked about it for the rest of your life. But, you know, it gave him where he can do these parts now, you know?
Yeah. No, I get it. And Phil, I know you got to leave right now. Right?
Yeah, my allergies are fucking with me really bad right now, dude. I'm sorry. I'd love to stay longer, but man, yeah, this has been fun. Obviously, you know,
rest up, feel better, buddy.
I will try. Yeah. It's been, you know, great listening to Meg talk about TIFF. It's been great talking Spider-Man and all this stuff with you guys. Thanks again for the invite. It's always a blast.
Yeah, nice, you guys. Nice shirt, by the way. I like your.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I wore it specifically just for you, buddy boy.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. But
Bat-tastic.
Well.
Yeah, but go ahead and plug away. Plug what you got.
Yeah. You know, I had an episode of Friday Phil earlier today.
You know, I was watching that earlier.
Movie Film Pod, shout out. Gave Dave a shout out. I think I might even mention you, Chris, too. Yeah, I might have mentioned you. I think I did. Anyway, it's a new show I've been doing
it's on my docket for tomorrow.
You're welcome. It's a new show I do every Friday, just recapping a lot of the shenanigans we talk about here more often than not throughout the week. You know, gave praise to James Earl Jones, John Cassaday, you know, went over the Hal Jordan stuff. But yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. Just follow me at Unfiltered pretty much everywhere else on Instagram, Vero, Threads, Blue Sky. Listen to my Eternal Night show. You can read my writings at Multiverse of Color. Thanks again, everyone. Stay safe. Have a great night. Much love, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Phil. There you go. But I mean, this could actually lead into like probably the final topic of tonight is we're still looking for that Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Who is it gonna be? It's not gonna be McConaughey, not gonna be Brolin. And from what I saw on my timeline, I don't know if it's true that Ewan McGregor most likely.
I don't see him. I don't see him as a Hal Jordan. I see him more as Hawkman. I know that's a weird fan cast.
Ewan
but, like,
McGregor, really? You see him
Wow.
as Hawkman? Huh.
yeah, I know it's a weird one, but like,
I see more of like a Gerard Butler as a Hawkman, to be honest. Like a more brooding.
actually, yeah, I can see that.
Someone that's really just a genuine a-hole.
Yeah.
You know, because Carter Hall is a genuine a-hole.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I mean, Ewan McGregor, not that a-hole. You know, it's like he's so likable. So yeah. So when it comes to like a Hawkman, I'm like, I see like a Gerard Butler type where he's just like,
or even Carl Urban. Like
or that. Yeah.
Either one,
like
I'd be
oh
happy
yeah,
with.
that's actually not a bad. That's not a bad Hawkman right there.
Yeah.
Carl Urban, I can see as a Hawkman. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that, you know, when it comes to Green Lantern and lanterns, I mean it's going to be an interesting, I mean, because I mean this is going to be the next casting announcements we're going to get for the DCU, and obviously we got the short list. When it came to Brolin, it was funny because a lot of people, including me, and I think some of us here, were just kind of like, it's, you know, I mean. Brolin's not bad, but it's just not. And then McConaughey was also on the list, and I didn't see McConaughey as
just if they say it's True Detective in space and he's in True Detective, I'm like, okay, that's too fucking obvious.
Yeah, that's to get someone's price tag down. That's why he was.
Seemed like it was like planted out there. I mean, and they do this. That's the thing. It's like when it comes to Hollywood, we got to realize that the studio and the actor and the PR team of the actor. One of the things I learned, like when it comes to talking to people in Hollywood, is especially when it comes to these big roles, is the PR team for the actor will, like, you know, try to hit up somewhere, you know, especially when it comes to like a scooper that is like, you know, putting things out there. They will contact that specific scooper to put his name out there to put it into the ether. But studios will do that too when they want to get a big name for a specific role, and they'll put it out there, you know, and it's kind of just like gauging the audience, which, you know what, to be honest, I get it. I get it. It's like if you, I mean, it's a little sleazy. I get it. It's sleazy, but at the same time, I kind of get it where it's like, well, you know, if the PR team for this actor is like trying to get something where you're going to get a big payout, obviously for a superhero role, yeah, put it out there. And then when it comes to the studio, specifically when you got something like DC Studios, who are trying to, like, you know, I mean, let's face it, Warner Brothers and DC it's been in turmoil for a bit. So it's like, if you can get a big name that's going to be involved with something, it's like, why not put these names out there that, you know, gets people talking about the conversation. I mean, we're talking about it right now. I've talked about it. We've talked about it last week. We talked about it.
3 weeks
we're talking
going.
about it. Yeah, no, we're talking about it, which is, there's nothing, to me, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that because, you know, get it out there in the conversation.
It's
get
funny
it out
to look back on, like, in years' time. It's going to be funny to look back. Like, we're thinking, I remember when we all thought Josh Brolin was going to be our new Hal Jordan. That was like,
it ended up being Tom Hanks. Who saw that coming?
That would be hilarious. That would be so funny. So so basically the remaining would be Ewan McGregor, but again, I don't know if that's going to be the case because, I mean, who knows? Like I said, but I mean, you got Chris Pine and Timothy Olyphant. I just think Timothy Olyphant is just,
yeah, I think he's the lead.
Yeah, it just seems like he seems like the guy. Like I don't know. When it came to this entire list, like first it was Josh Brolin, and then Ewan McGregor was in the mix, and then Matthew McConaughey, and then when the list grew to Chris Pine and Timothy Olyphant, I immediately went, Timothy Olyphant seems like it's a good fit.
Oh, he played Agent 47. Okay, yeah.
Well, he also did you know, he did the series Justified. So
yeah.
Oh, and
I mean, that's the thing. It's like he's a guy who is done a bunch of series, and I don't know. There's just something about him where I'm like, Josh Brolin seemed a little too grizzled for a Hal Jordan. I get what they were saying. Like, I like the fact that we're gonna get a grizzled, older Hal Jordan. I'm okay with that. But I just thought Josh Brolin was a little too much. And maybe I'm just thinking about, him playing Gurney and fucking Dune, where he's way too grizzled. He's so grizzled. So I'm thinking that. So I thought that was a little too much. And then I'm like looking at Timothy Olyphant. I'm like, he's still got, there's something about him where I'm just like, he's got that likability, and he can also have a little grizzle to him too.
I mean, when I saw him in like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, he was very skinny, and so I'm like, okay, just bulk up a bit. I mean,
well, of course, but he doesn't need to bulk up that much. He could
not for Hal.
He could put on like 5-10 pounds. Get a little fucking ripped. But he doesn't need to like get like super like huge.
And also Josh Brolin isn't he like pretty short? Isn't he like
he's like 5'9". That's what they made the joke about that in Deadpool.
Yeah, I remember. I was like,
where he's not the comic accurate, which I thought was funny. But I mean, he still worked for Cable in that movie. But I'm like, that's the thing, is like Josh Brolin is like too much. It's like too much Josh Brolin. And I'm glad that he turned it down, if whatever. And I didn't see McConaughey as it was like, that just didn't feel right at all. I'm like, I don't see him as a Hal Jordan. I mean, McConaughey, he has a superhero body, but I'm like, what fucking superhero can McConaughey actually play? I don't, with his cadence and everything. I'm like, what, Jonah Hex, which Josh Brolin played? I don't know.
I mean, he was a cowboy Deadpool, right?
Did the voice.
Yeah, he did the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Timothy Olyphant would be a good choice, but who knows what's in. And then of course we still got Jon Stewart, which, I mean, everybody's talking about we talked about it last week, that Aaron Pierre guy. I mean, I haven't watched that movie. I haven't seen anything with that guy yet.
Which movie was it?
Huh?
Which movie was it?
Rebel Ridge, I think.
Rebel Ridge.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody's like raving about that movie. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna watch
Whenever
it.
there's like a new movie and they see this actor, they're like, "Oh, he needs to play this character." I'm like,
that's what I hate. I hate that shit too.
Yeah, that's what I hate too.
Low hanging fruit.
There was somebody that something just happened recently too. I saw on my feed where immediately they just took this actor and they were like, oh, they should play, I forgot who it was, but yeah, you see that all the time where it's like, oh, they should play so and so, and I'm like, can we not just like, just because you like them in a cool role that you just like, oh, they should play this superhero, let's not do that. I hate that so much.
Yeah, it gets a bit, I don't know,
but I get it though. I get it
sometimes.
Yeah, I get it. And, but at the same time, when it came to Brendan Sklenar, before that movie with Blake Lively came out, when people were like going, he should be the DCU Batman, I just looked at him and I went, oh, well, yeah.
Are you talking about It Ends With Us?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's like,
do not mention that movie to Eli. Holy shit, he hates that book.
Okay, well, I won't. But I'm just saying, like, when I saw him before I knew he was in that movie, because he like did like an interview because he's like the love interest who's, not the abusive one or whatever the fuck. And when I saw him before that, I was like, okay, I actually can see this, because he's pretty jacked already, and he has a look to him. But then all of a sudden, it's like, when the movie came out, people are like, oh yeah, 100% more. And I'm like, man, I was on this guy before. That sounded weird. I'm on this guy.
I see him more as Bruce Wayne and Batman more than Glenn Powell.
Yeah, Glenn Powell. Can we stop with the Glenn Powell stuff?
He looks too much.
Let's cast Glenn Powell and everything. Heck, let's start the rumor he's now dying a prince as their new Wonder Woman. Sure.
You know what I like?
capybara smile. That's it.
You know what I like about Glenn Powell though? Did you guys see that he posted recently that he did like a performative podcast thing for a character? I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
You just saw that, right, Chris?
I saw it, but I can't remember it either. It kind of came across and I watched it. I was like, oh, okay.
I forgot what it was. But what I like about Glenn Powell, it just seems like when it comes to doing whatever, he's just like, hey, I this sounds interesting. Yeah, it was for let's see, Saving Weddings, One Man at a Time. I've assembled some of my funniest friends, and he lists off something. This is called The Best Man's Ghostwriter. And it's all voice acting. And there's actually a pretty good cast of you got Nicholas Braun, Ashley Park, Jack McBrayer, Lance Bass, Zach Braff. I know.
I know who Zach Braff is, but
you know who Zach Braff is, Deborah Messing. But it's like he's the lead in this Audible book that he's reading. And I'm like, all right, Glenn Powell, who's like the new it guy. It's just doing shit just because it's like, all right, I actually like this story and I want to do it. It's not me on screen. It's just me leading this story that I'm reading for audible.com. Like it's an Audible book. And I just kind of, I was not, when it came to Top Gun Maverick, I was like, fucking this guy, he's the dick. He's the douchebag in Top Gun. I don't know. I don't know if I like this guy. But then now I'm really starting to like this guy. But I do not like him as Batman. He does not fit Batman. He looks, sure, the look, maybe, but he's got really squinty eyes and he's got a higher voice than I would want.
Again, he's got that capybara smile, and I just can't take that seriously as Batman.
Yeah, he grins a lot, he smiles a lot, and I'm like, that just does not scream Batman to me.
He was perfect for Booster Gold, but isn't that already taken by that other guy?
Or even Hal Jordan. He could fit a Hal Jordan too, but if they're going for an older one, he's not old enough because he's in his mid-30s. So,
or hell, even Johnny Cage for the new Mortal Kombat.
Oh, movie. He would be a great.
Yeah. That would have been so perfect.
He would have been a great Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
I totally can see him as a Johnny Cage, but Carl Urban, we'll see what that's like, I guess.
Yeah.
That's still weird to me, but I like Carl Urban, so I'll be open to it. Yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up this stream right here. This has been a fun stream. Like I said, we talked about a lot of things, and of course, thank you to Wonder Meg, who was the featured guest tonight, and I'm glad she showed up. It was pretty much a last minute thing. I hit her up 3 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, or 3 hours beforehand. I was like, oh yeah, I was like maybe, and she was gracious enough to show up and talk about her adventure at TIFF, which I think a lot of us would love that adventure one of these days, to go to a film festival and just meet people and go see movies that a lot of people don't end up seeing, because when it comes to these film festivals, sadly, some of these movies just fall, they just don't, they don't get a lot of viewings. And it is cool that they do get into these film festivals, but it just, and some of them, a couple of them might make it out and end up being award-winning movies, which is always the goal, I guess. But thank you to Wonder Meg for showing up and talking shop and doing all that. Great conversation with her. Of course, thank you to Phil. Thank you to William, and who else came on here? That's it. Yep, we're good, right? If you guys are not immediately saying anything, all right. Because sometimes I forget. I'm like, wait, who was on this fucking thing? But I think we're good. I think we're good with that. But yeah, thank you, guy, and we'll go around the horn right now and let's promote what we're doing. Go ahead, Axel. What do you got to promote right now?
Well, I don't really have anything going on. You can find me at Droga52 on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter via Axel R. Droga. I've been doing a lot of Lego Batman 2 art, in my reimagining, and yeah, it's been a blast doing that. And yeah, thank you for having me on, Dev. It's been a while since I've been on here. I haven't really been on a stream like in a few weeks. Like I was on one yesterday. That was fun. And yeah, I just need to get my voice out and stuff because like so much has happened. And yeah, it was really good. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I'm liking the art you're putting out there, dude. Keep on doing it, man. Keep on making art. That's what I'm all, I mean, when it comes, well, I'll get to it in a little bit, but Chris, go ahead. What are you promoting right now?
Yeah, so you can follow me on all the socials at Chris Balga. Put out, as always, another new episode of Marvel Alliance. Brent and I talking about Spider-Man 4, the Venom trailer, some new castings going on. So check that out. Subscribe to the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network or Marvel Alliance. And then check out Tuesday, my buddy Joe doing a walk through the multiverse. You can find that on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. Very special guest, very timely release for what's coming out the next day. So definitely be checking that out. And but yeah, as always, Dave, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, dude, always like talking to you, man. And it's like one of the things I wanted to talk about because there is going to be a conversation between me and Rebecca, Supergirl Radio, that's going to be coming out. I don't know if it's coming out this weekend. Depends, on whether she does. But we had a one-on-one that she wanted to have on her channel that's going to be coming out, and it was one of those things where we did talk about just art and what we do, what we talk about. I mean, yeah, sometimes it just can sound like noise, and we just we're just bickering back and forth. But sometimes, it's like it's always. There's an art form in a lot of things, whether it's what you do, Droga, is like, drawing things. What, Chris and I do is just talk and just kind of like bring an opinion to something or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's just we had a really good conversation. I'm looking forward to when that gets released. And it's just one of those things where it's like, that's what I love about the Vox stream, is having different voices, and we all do different things. We have either different voices on our own platforms, or we're doing like different art, or making things. Like when Travis comes on, I mean, the dude made, short films and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just cool. It's all about the art, guys. All about the art, no matter if you don't like it, if you like it or not, especially when it comes to these movies. It's like we just hope that the artist makes what they want to make. That's what we want right there, no matter what it is. If we don't like it, we don't, if or not, it's like if we like it or we don't, hey, guess what, it's still art.
Just put it out
anyway,
there.
Just put it out there, and that's what we do every week, and we love it. And again, thank you, Axel. Thank you, Chris. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye.